Yo guys, what's up? Alright, tomorrow new PoE leak, so I want to go over most of the Druid stuff today. Last minute. So nothing really on the POB yet, but I think we get some pretty interesting notes in the beginnings. So yeah, we want to watch the Ziggity videos and then look at POB for a little bit, see some interesting videos, and that's pretty much it. Still going for oracles. I think Amazon Wolf. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think Wolf would be really good on Amazon or Invoker. But at this point, I want to play something that is not figured out yet. So I will click Oracles. I don't care if something is better. How's it going? Yeah, I'm doing good. Going over most of the last minute stuff, and then it's gonna get a well rested, and then we'll be playing at least that tomorrow. Right, so the plan is to basically just figure out whatever is not figured out yet. Also, I have a build guide, so let me make a comment here. Are you debating between Amazon or Druid? I mean, if you want to be safe, right? Yeah, what's up, Joe? If you want to be safe, I think play like something that's already figured out, right? Amazon would be pretty strong. Find your channel through DM. Oh, wait, DM death microtransactions. Thanks. So yeah, I had planned to go over some of the stuff. So Ziggity has two video, right? So we're gonna watch
G'day
both
folks,
of
Ziggity
them.
here with a hand.
So this is the first video. I was meant to watch this yesterday, but yeah, it didn't happen. So if Oracle Wolf will be ass, I don't think it's will be ass, dude. I'm not doing another characters. I'm just gonna click dudes, click oracles, and make it happen. Yeah, unless, right? Unless like something, I don't know,
Hands-on
something
preview for the
like
Druid.
crazy
We'll take a look at the
happens.
shape-shifting forms, Druid spells, and how the new class plays overall in the early campaign. I got a chance to record this when I went to the studio to host the Q&A, thanks to Grinding Gear Games for covering my flights to do so. Keep in mind that as this was recorded more than a week from launch, it's non-final, and stuff can, and already has, changed from what you'll see here. The new Druid archetype is flavored by the combination of elemental and nature magic.
Have you seen the updated Ascendancy? Okay, I'm gonna go over everything. One sec. Okay, so I'm gonna go over everything in the streams, pretty much. I'll try to go over everything. I think there's also like game award later. Let me check on the time. I think it's in 4 hours. So hopefully I'll be watching that. Otherwise,
rare and challenging action RPG task of giving us the potential to play a hybrid of spells and attacks. The human form is where your spellcasting happens, and your beast forms are where your melee happens.
Wait one sec. Basically, should I put a text or something? Cause I want to go over everything. So yeah, no, I mean you guys can like spoiler, but I'm gonna look at it a little bit anyway. Just gonna go over it one by one. Wait, that's not the command. Wait, where's my other command? Yo, Abel, thanks for the prime. No, I'm trying to set up the commands, but yeah, what happens? I can't see the O command, but like, how does it give me like a wrong link? Yo, Kurt, thanks for the T1. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I'm so confused right now. We can try to do like a build command. Okay, that didn't happen. I feel like the stream element is trolling me. Yeah, I'm so confused right now. Yo, Dad, thanks for the 100 bits. You really, thanks for the prime. Yo, guys, I don't understand. Like, okay, whatever. I guess I'll just like, okay, this is the written guy. I'm trying to put this as a comment, but it doesn't register. And then I can't see the O command because I had a O command for guy and then I can't see it. Yeah, this is all the command, right? Okay, so like I don't see it in my stream stream elements menus. It's so weird. I feel like it's bug out or something. Is it not in the chat log? Man, I should have set this up for a click streams. Alright, I think we can do this later. Let's just go over the videos.
Not natural, this. Air's gone sour.
When you start on the beach, this is brought home when you immediately find a staff with lightning bolt to begin spellcasting. However, that is
So just spoiler alert, I have already seen this one, but I still want to go over and
quickly followed
and
by
react
looting the new melee weapon
a
type,
few
a
things,
talisman.
right? Because I
Talismans
think
function just like any other melee weapon.
So at the beach, we already have like a staff. And then apparently in the early game, you can combo the volcano with bears. So I
Each of the
think
three
that's
forms
like
also
the
comes
way to
with
go
passive
early
effects
games.
and
But I
mechanics. The
feel like
version
I
I
just
played
want
was
to click
likely
wolf and
non-final in this
go.
regard, but for example, Bear had defensive boosts and generated endurance charges when rage was consumed, while the werewolf gets a sizable out-of-combat movement speed buff, which you can see in its movement as it drops to all fours. You quickly also get your first actual gem on the beach here, Volcano.
By primal will.
This is a spell that causes an explosion and spits fire projectiles for a long duration. There's a running theme with a lot of the Druid spells that they provide some sort of ongoing benefit and that they often synergize with things that you can do while shapeshifting.
You know, like wolf is so snappy. I love it.
This is all to support that idea of hybrid spells and melee shapeshifting, because after all, if it was something a little bit more limited, like a fireball for example, then you have to make a clear decision between whether you use a fireball or one of the shapeshifted attacks. In this case, you can place spells, they'll continue to do stuff while you're shapeshifted. Perfect.
Like that's definitely something I can look for.
More on
Like
Volcano later. For now though, we can fight
it
more
doesn't
with
like you can
volcanoes
just use
and follow up
spell.
with lightning strikes from the staff
You
if
can
you're
just use
curious,
spell in the
or
early
with our
game and
chosen
do wolf form.
shapeshift forms melee, which is
It's
obviously
just
what I
better
do.
on bear because the bear can slam and then make the volcano spell better. Yeah, so he's doing volcano spell and then shift to wolf, but yeah, at this point, right, bear would be better.
Abomination! Still breathing. That's a start. Sleep now. Whatever's left of ye.
The first uncut gem expands your options with the Entangle spell, Lunar Assault for Wolf, and Furious Slam for Bear. I'll test all of them as we go, don't worry, but I decided to kick off with focusing on the Bear's Slam combination first. The Bear's basic attack Maul generates Rage on hit, and Furious Slam spends Rage to empower itself with a more powerful explosion that leaves behind jagged ground. The fact that you're spending Rage also means that this constantly maintains endurance charges due to the Bear's passive bonus. Rage has been simplified across the game, with Rage spenders now more consistently costing 10 Rage, and a new visual effect shows in your character to indicate that you have at least 10 Rage, making you glow, even in shapeshifted forms too. So this means that whenever you're glowing, you know that you can use a Rage spender. I find the Devourer first up.
Early on, going for hybrid bear and wolf would probably be good. Yeah.
So we
I think
get
so
the
too.
first test of our metal
But
a
I
little
mean,
bit early.
You can just go wolf, right? But yeah, bear destroy bosses
And
early
here we get to
on,
see a bit
'cause,
of the potential
volcanic
power
and
of the Bear
slam.
styles combos.
Yeah, this is one. Pretty sure it's
So
on like
volcanoes
white gear.
spit fire globs at an even pace, but slamming them causes an extra set of projectiles to fire. So placing volcanoes on bosses and bear slamming them while generating and spending rage is a simple and chunky feeling combo. And it makes
It's the
pretty short
earliest
work
combo
of,
of
the
this
Devourer here.
class right here.
You've gorged on the good folk of Clairfell long enough.
With the first support gem, I grabbed Fist of War to empower the Furious Slam, which plays very smoothly. It's perfect pairing with this, as you naturally tend to space out the slams anyway as you move around or as you generate rage with Maul. So the double empowered slams that you get from Rage and Fist of War also very satisfying.
Wait,
so
does that
pretty
work?
happy with that as a first support gem choice for this playstyle. There was
Oh,
some
it
other
does.
interesting options there though, such as Overabundance and Burgeon for Volcano. So Overabundance lets you
Nice,
have a max
thanks.
of 2 volcanoes out instead of 1 at the cost of 50% less duration, which I think is a pretty good idea in many cases.
Perfect.
Brings them down to something like 4
Thanks.
seconds maybe. But I think that's a very good trade-off because you can slam multiple of them down really fast, get a lot more burst on bosses, and have your slams triggering 2 volcanoes at once. So I run into my first of the League's Val encounters around here.
So you can do 2 volcano and then you slam both of them. That's kind of crazy because that's already like that's shotguns on the boss as well. So yeah, no wonder it's like really good early on for boss.
These are just simple sacrifice platforms, basically kill monster in circle. Thankfully, they aren't even too strict about you needing to be in the circle. You just kill monster from the circle. So this video is primarily about the Druid. I'm not really going to be focusing too much on the League mechanic here, but I will touch on my very limited experience with it. The basic premise is kill monsters from 6 circles, and then you go raid a ruined temple for loot and a bunch of crafting options to improve your gear as you level. It's fairly unobtrusive as you play through, and then you get the chance to spend a little bit more time in the actual temple to do some gear crafting. That felt pretty powerful. For now though, I get a chance to pick up the Wolf skill, Lunar Assault, and the plant spell Entangle, so I'll test those out in the near future. Entangle first. It places a fissure that grabs nearby enemies to deal rapid small hits of physical spell damage while slowing the entangled foes. Skills like this are always really good for utility.
Cross slash didn't force you to jump backward. I mean it looks pretty good. It's pretty snappy. The backward jumps looks kind of cool. I mean the default auto attack already it's put you on top of the enemies, right? So it's like it's not bad.
Like Oil Grenade, for example, slowing enemies is really effective on Crossbow. I anticipate Entangle might feel similar here as a utility spell. And similar to Volcano, it's got that duration.
You will see in the
lasting
second videos,
benefit
I
design.
think.
So it kind of means that regardless of your actual
Because that's
leveling
like a
setup,
level
your
22
build, you
skill,
can
so
throw in some
in this
entangles
first
for
one
some
he
extra
didn't have
damage
it,
and
and the second one I
I'm
didn't see
immediately pretty
because I want
impressed
to
with
see
the
it
feeling
on
of
the
bear
stream.
form for blasting bosses here. Double empowered volcano slams is very rewarding. And the hybrid gameplay option on Druid means that if you need to kind of back off for a little while, you're taking a bit too much damage, your flusts are getting run down, you can give yourself some distance and throw down some volcanoes, entangles, and later on other spells while you're recovering. I'll take the opportunity
Keep in
before
mind
we
that
test some wolf form
Beira is
here
also
comment
weak
on
to
the overall
fire, I
feeling of
think.
shapeshifting, and it
So
is,
like
thankfully,
Volcano and the
seamless.
Bear Slam is
GGD
like
have done
extra
a really
damage
good job
here.
of leveraging the weapon swap system, especially after
And
they kind of
Beira
changed it
is
to not have
like
delays and things like that.
have resistance
And,
to
they've done it in a
coal.
way
Yeah,
that
so
requires
so
zero thought on
yeah,
the player's
it's just
behalf, which
extra
I think is
damage
really
if you are going
important.
Bear.
We've dumped a bunch of new players on the Druid here,
But
and then you
probably
have to,
that's gonna be
teach them
it,
a bunch of
right?
complicated weapon swap mechanics and setup
Actually,
for
there's
the UI.
another
It'd be a real
like the
problem,
rare
but you
monster
don't
here,
actually have
the
to think
big
about
ghost
it or
is
do
actually
anything
also
initially
weak
use it
to
in its
fire
simple
damage.
form. So spells just
So at
naturally
the
swap
very
into
first
uniform
few
in
level,
your
it's
staff
completely
alone
fine to
so
go
that you can use them,
Volcano
right?
and
'Cause they
Bear
don't
Slam.
necessarily work otherwise.
But I'm going to
And
Wolf
the
like
shapeshift
ASAP.
abilities need the talisman, so they automatically swap to that. And thus
Maps
swap you
like
into
Dreadnought
your
will
form.
be kind of awkward.
There's
I don't
no
think
real
so.
delays
Like,
here, and it
because
just feels
pounce, you
smooth
can
and
pounce
seamless as you
across
swap
the
between multiple forms. And the gameplay
you
feels
can
pretty fast
like
too, 'cause
pounce
that was a thing
across
from
the map,
preview that
right?
people were concerned about,
Basically,
especially
it's a
Wolf
gap
Form feels very
closer.
fast. The initial reveal,
It's not gonna be a
they did
problem.
good
Like
thing
I
of,
feel like
focusing on
they
clear,
already like
low
thoroughly
damage,
test
low
this.
movement examples of mechanics so that you could understand what was going on, but it didn't actually show what it kind of felt or looked like to play the Druid, and it made it look honestly a bit slow and clunky.
So much blood spilled here at the earth.
Is the sound too small?
The biggest thing that I noticed playing it though, that almost right away in Act 1, it was much faster and smoother than I would have thought from the footage, and that's because you're actually using things like dodge roll and sprint to reposition between attacks. And you obviously have a lot more damage than what they use in those previews. And now onto the Red Veil Zone, I decided to test the early game werewolf style a bit more. Lunar Assault is a large slash melee skill that has a very high freeze rate and cold conversion. And that can be paired with the Ice Bite support to give you a big bonus cold damage buff that's up pretty much all the time with this skill, as it freezes so easily on regular mobs and even fairly easily on most bosses. As a quick aside, I can confirm that you can be knocked down while sprinting in animal form, And I can confirm that it's just as hilarious as it normally is. Though this only happened like 2 or 3 times in the entirety of my playtime. I'm not sure if I'm just getting better at using it, or if the shapeshift forms are naturally more resistant to heavy stuns maybe. Either way, it only happened a few times. Anyway, the werewolf doesn't have any immediate synergy with the volcano stuff, but there's no reason to not just use them anyway.
I feel like Luna Assault is so good, right?
Them apart and you're getting the bonus damage,
it's
right?
It's like a weaker Ice Strike.
At this point in the game.
But you get it like at level 1 basically, so like all the early zone you can just swipe enemies, and that's like it's a pretty good AoE and it's a pretty good CC,
I believe.
So it's already pretty good.
Each hit from Shred on a frozen
it looks
target
like
chips off a chunk of ice,
even for boss, right? You freeze the boss and you wreck. Basically, that's it. That's the only combo you need.
Is to use Lunar Assault a couple times to freeze them,
and then you
by
claw out all these fragments, and that's really good damage, by the way.
For some pretty wild burst damage at times, especially on any.
It is really good damage.
The icicles do fly backwards behind.
How is
the
it weaker than Ice Strike? It's AoE scaling.
Especially those bigger ones. There's a lot more you can do with the icicles later on, and more combo pieces for the wolf form. It's only just this kind of basic bit here, but
Ice Strike is like way better damage,
and that freeze potency is very high.
At least on the third strike.
It's a pretty good early game for the werewolf, I felt.
But yeah, you get it at level 1, and also the skills doesn't have good multipliers. It has like a tons of cold conversions,
support from the spells,
and it's meant to be used to freeze enemies, right?
In something from one of the other elemental trees.
Demon form build, I might. It's not like on top of my list because Oracle's the new thing, right?
But you want something else on top of that as like a burst skill. Obviously, you can use the basic staff skills; those are okay. But you could use a third gem.
There's gonna be a wolf unique for sure. Yeah, we'll know like a few hours before patch. So I think I'll be on like a few hours to look at the skill trees and everything, update the written guide and stuff.
So you want something else to do. So after Red Veil, the next tier of gems gives access to Shockwave Totem, Rolling Magma for the Wyvern form, it's actually Wyvern skill, and Pounce for Wolf, and Wing Blast for Wyvern as well. So Wyvern gets 2 here because it's kind of first introduced at this point. You also like unlock the ability to swap.
Are you live for launch? Yeah, I'll be live for launch.
You've got the original talisman, I believe. I suspect maybe it's based on character level.
At least that's the plan for now.
So this expands your build options in quite a few ways, about 4 different directions right away. There's a lot of lines of...
Right, so Pounce at level 3. And this is gonna make like early game really good, I think. So mark target also take extra damage for each of enemies within 6 meters. So you jump into a pack and then you just kill something very fast, right? As long as target is mark.
Play on the Druid here, even right at the early game. So you can totem with bear form for jagged ground eruptions, for example. Rolling Magma plus Volcano as a combo there for fire-focused Wyvern. The Magmas trigger the volcanoes. You can incorporate Pounce into wolf form, which gives a bunch of benefits. And you can also grab Wing Blast for like a lightning-focused melee
Jonathan,
Wyvern
talk about notables where you can will Scepter's Talisman.
Really the wolf form. I
went up
Pounce,
with that in my video as well.
This is possibly the best all-rounded skill in the entire
my newest
category.
one, yeah. It's kind of on the stream, yeah.
I'll tell you. Big fan. It's
gonna be pretty good for sure.
Leaps gaps and obstacles.
Even if we don't get new scepters, which I mean we might. There might be a scepter that allows you to run minions wolf in the late game.
And it automatically marks the highest rarity target, so it just works.
Can't wait to see how good Oracle is. I mean,
or you can just use the built-in.
I'm clicking Oracle, dude. I mean, at the least, right? I mean, if it's like so bad that it's unplayable, then we can go Shamans.
It has nearby. If that makes sense. So, okay, yeah.
I'll take a look at Shamans too. I mean, Shamans, it looks like it's better for bear, but I mean, we can see. We'll see.
There's other ways to trigger it.
Oracle's 50-50. I mean, it's 50-50. You pick Oracle or Shamans.
Marks effect anyway. So, this skill does everything. Crazy. Obviously, it's a must-have in wolf form, but I used it in every single build I tested on Druid. I think if you're using a talisman in your build, you're probably going to want to use this skill. A leap initiator mark on hit is really good for any melee playstyle, and it's good to just have unless you have like another movement skill that you really want to use instead. I can see using it. It's important here, I think, that I drive home just how you aren't locked to a form as well. Like, You may know that, but it's easy to
If
just not really
everything
think about
else
it. Your
fail, we can
talisman
water the
choice is
plant. Hell
only the
no.
selection for which basic attack
We
you
are
have. It doesn't
shifting
lock
this
you into a
lake.
form. You don't choose a form like most games like this.
Triceptor would be
It's
cool.
only
Yeah, Triceptor is
important
good.
what you choose on your talisman if you
The
actually
more you
plan
watch
to do
dude, the
some
more
sort
you
of
feel
combo
it
with it.
got
And I
some
don't think every
weakness we
build
don't
will
see.
necessarily use the basic attack. Some of them will because they have
It's
some
all
pretty powerful
speculation
combo
at this
effects.
point. I mean,
But for
if
example,
you
the
want to
Bear
be
Forms
safe,
one,
right? There's
just
tons of
generated
meta
rage,
builds
and
that
there's
is
other ways to
not
do that.
changed and
Rage
even
spell
buffed
gem on
if
another
you want to
skill,
be
for
safe.
example. So I can absolutely see not using the bear's basic attack. for
Right,
too
so
long. And
no
you'd
one
only
is
use the
forcing you
werewolf one
guys
if
to
you were
play
planning on doing
wolf
some sort
or
of
like oracles, but that's what I want to
icicle-based
do. I
build,
want to play
So
something
you're
new.
absolutely free to leap in as a wolf and then
And
proceed
maybe
to
off
bear
meta,
slaying
and maybe
ritual, for
even
example.
okay. So
And it
even
took me
if
a while
it's
to really fully
weak,
take
it's
that in
fine,
and incorporate
right?
that into my gameplay. I still catch
We'll get it
myself
to the
thinking of
point
each
where we can
shapeshift
clear
form as
maps.
just like one separate thing,
I
even
don't,
though I know it's
I'm not gonna worry
But
about it.
try
I
and,
feel like the
remind
game at
yourself
this
to take
point
Druid a bit more
is actually not that
holistically,
hard.
right? It's if there's like a skill or
That's
passive bonus
if you
from
want
one
to
of the
make a
forms
build
that you want
that
to
is an
enable
attack
some
build
combo
and go
or
to
synergy with your build,
T15,
then
right?
use it. Nothing
It's
stops you,
it's
right?
not gonna be too hard.
The devs have given some guided and more obviously
I mean, I
spelled
guess
out
like if it's
combos
had
within each particular
bad scaling, you guys can
shapeshift
reroll into
form or
something else.
archetype.
But
Like for example, bears more
oh,
generate
even
rage
reroll
and
to
slay
bear,
consuming
right?
it, right? Like these are
But
prepackaged
it's
items
not
that
gonna
we're
be
given
that
as
bad,
obvious
100%.
starting points,
We're
but
scaling
there's plenty of
coal
room for
and we're
cross
scaling
synergies
crits.
between
There's
forms and
no way
potentially
this
even
build is bad.
other weapon types too. Like I don't see why you couldn't like generate rage on a bear.
Like the
and
thing
then
is,
consume it
Ascendancies
in
in
one form,
PoE
it'll be flame
2
breath or
is
something.
not
Or
crazy
even
good like
alternate between
PoE 1.
bear
It's not
slings
like
and
game
human form
changer, but
mace
I mean,
slams. I'm sure there's
they
a
did
build
buff
there.
a bunch
So wolf
this
form,
patch
which
for
already felt really good
Ascendancies.
with its high movement speed and
Like,
attack speed,
if you
definitely
want to
got faster
compare,
and more
right? Yeah,
furious
it
with
might be
pouts.
weaker
Overall,
than
this playstyle is a fairly
Amazon
straightforward
or... Oh, by the way, someone link videos that's really cool in Discord. That's basically these reward, right? From Guy That Die. Basically these rewards.
and potentially even other weapon
Let me
types
see here.
too. Like, I don't see why you couldn't like generate.
So it's
rage
gonna
on
drop
bear
like a Jade
and then
Amulet here. So
consume
these
it in
rewards
wyvern
are
form for the big flame
basically
breath or something. Or
like
even alternate
fixed
between bear slams
from
and human form
the
mace
reward of the
slams. I'm
lick
sure there's a build
mechanics.
there.
So
So
there's
wolf
like
form,
guarantee
which already
exalt
felt really
drops
good with its high movement speed
in
and attack
certain
speed,
zone.
definitely got faster
So if
and
you
more
clear the
furious
lick
with pouts.
mechanics,
Overall,
you're gonna
this
get
playstyle
it.
is a fairly straightforward melee attacker.
Which
with
means, yeah,
some
we're
room
gonna
for
grab some
some
really
pretty
exalted
good skill
orphan
expression, I
by
think, in how
Pozikins,
well
and
you
we're gonna have like the
position and
best leveling
freeze and then
experience.
swap to shred enemies so that you kind of choose which direction the
If it's
icicles
really bad,
fly
it's gonna get
fly
buffed.
off.
Yeah,
I
if
think
it's like
you are
bug or
pretty
really
good
bad,
at it,
then yeah.
you can perform, you know, get a little bit of extra juice out of it.
Yeah,
But
they
if
are
you just
doing
want a
free
lunar
access
assault,
weekend
freeze
again.
everything and just kill them with that, like a freeze cleave build. Then
Yeah, you
absolutely
can.
I think.
Beastmaster Druid sounds
It's not as
pretty
high
good.
single target right away as the full bear form combo, unless you get like really nice shotgunning off the icicles
Yeah, I
on a large
mean,
boss, for
you
example.
kind of play what you like.
But freeze locks down
That
many
is
bosses,
PoE,
and I felt
right?
like I was
You
just
have a new
dismantling
weapons.
any bigger targets.
You have shift
It's like by the
shifting,
time
and
they go
it's
to do their
available
first real
for
attack,
all
you freeze
class.
them, and then they're nearly dead. So, a lot of
So
the
I
fights
actually
were just
think
kind of over before
going
they
for
began.
Dex might be a good thing because all the mark skills are like
I
fully
did dip
Dex,
my
right?
toes into the wyvern
Beside
form
freezing
next
mark.
to mess around with some of this.
Because if you go Druid, right, it's already strength and int, and you have to split that with Dex. I know they kind of nerfed the attributes last week, but it's still going to be a problem for sure. Which means that if it's a problem, right, you are like if you splitting your attributes between all three attributes, it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, Talisman is strength and int, and then you have to go Dex. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So if you're going on the right side with Invoker, Pathfinder, right, just keep in mind that it's Dex and yeah, I mean Ascendancy, right? It might actually be pretty good, yeah. Why do you need high level mark? Because low level mark you can't use, like you can't apply it to high level enemies. So you don't need like actual levels, like it's just like the curse, right? Or like Frostbomb, right? If you don't have enough high level, it doesn't apply to enemies above like a certain levels.
Skills a bit off and on. I played
Yeah,
with
you're not
Rolling
gonna
Magma
need
and
200
Volcano
strengths.
as a
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
ranged wyvern.
I'm just pointing that
Magma
out.
orb
Like
bouncers also trigger
and then
Volcano's
also the
projectile pulse.
skills.
So it's pretty difficult, I think, to position and take full advantage of, especially if like the
Actually, what is the skill requirements? Strength and int, right? Yeah. So, like, for example, level 20 cross slash would be 90 strength and int. So, I mean, yeah. people kind of forget how problematic
enemies are running at you, for
the
example.
attribute
Something
issue
like
is in
Entangle
PoE
can slow
2.
enemies down to help with that, so you can throw down some entangles and volcanoes, and then shoot out some magma orbs.
Holy,
to do
there's so
some of
many
that.
people here.
But it's definitely a more difficult play
Yo, Les,
style
if I
than what
miss
the
your
other
message, because
ones that I've covered
I'm
so
reading
far
and
offer
I'm
you
watching at
this
the same
stage in
time.
the early game. This was a bit of a running theme for
Alright, so
me with
Wyvern doesn't
in
look
my
interesting
play
to me
session.
at all.
It's
Wyvern
a more
looks kind of
complicated form with some very
maybe for
powerful,
late game,
specific
but early
elements,
game
but
looks kind
less
of painful.
straightforward lines of play and synergies overall. It's
It's
also
like
the one
rolling
that's
magma,
probably seen the
man.
most changes from what I played to when it launches. I already know some changes that I'll mention as we go. I will come back to Wyvern a bit more later because I had my first little temple foray after my 6th Vial
Guys,
sacrifice
if I
here.
miss your
These
message,
places
I don't
gods
do
are
that on
ruined.
purpose, okay?
Power blankets
Yeah,
their
that's cool.
sultan.
I think
So the
I'm
league
not
has
gonna like
introduced you
try to
with a just
speedrun the
very
campaign.
simple
I'll try to
initial
like
design.
do
You place
these
some
lick
basic
mechanics
rooms.
as
It
well.
almost doesn't matter where you put these first ones. Later on, where you place them upgrades, but it highlights and makes
Have
it
you
super
thought
easy
about
to no-brainer
Tactician
if you want.
Wolfpack? Okay,
And then you
so
just run that small
I did hear about it, but I think Oskric, or the guy that's Oskric, I mean he's doing it right. So I'm not doing that. But if you want to do Tactician Wolfpack, I think just follow Oskric's. I haven't even seen the video, or like I'm not sure if he put out any Guile videos, but yeah. I think that's gonna be strong, Oskric, yeah.
temple to clear the rooms you placed, leaving whenever
Have you heard
want.
anything
You
about
don't
data mine? There's not gonna be a data mine until we get the torrent file. I think that's like 3 or 4 hours before leak, which is kind of crazy. Cause I want to click Druid, right, and then we had like 150 passive points to go through, so I'll be on a bit early.
have like a specific objective here.
Yeah, what's
you
up?
can clear the rooms and you'll get
What's
like
up, Stra?
I believe a portal to send you out
Tactician
of there.
Wolfpack's gonna be
once you're done
insane.
with
Yeah,
all of the
low key.
rooms.
If I
But
didn't
basically,
like
you're just
list out
going in there for the
Tactician
extra
last
specific
league, I would
rewards of each
try to
room.
play that.
And that
But
is like a
yeah,
bunch of chests
Druid is
and
like the new
weapon racks and
shiny
things
things,
that drop
right?
gear, or a bunch
Yeah,
of
but
crafting
I love
bases that do
Tacticians.
things
I
like
think
improve
Tactician is
quality and
insanely
sockets,
good.
let you alch
So if you're gonna
reroll a
go
magic item,
Tactician,
which is really
it's
good
gonna
while
make
leveling,
the early game like a
regal
joke.
magic item, exalt a magic rare item,
Everyone
and so
having
on. So
PTSD from
just doing
rolling
like one or
magma.
two
Yeah,
of
dude.
these quick little temple
I'm not
forays
playing
each
rolling
act will
magma
give you a
again.
pretty decent chunk of gear improvement. I think I did one per act.
PTSD for like
You
the
get
first
a
12
really
level.
good amount of items to craft too, but I recommend hanging on to any like specific bases you want
Yeah,
to upgrade
Tactician
as
is
you go into one
insane.
of these. So for example, the
19
next
Wolf
weapon base that
applying
you need to
Wither.
craft, you know, you don't have to use crafting currency, you can just go into the temple and make it. Or maybe you like need movement speed boots, so keep a nice pair of boots in your inventory to potentially craft movement speed on. That's how I ended up getting some of my movement speed boots. I've never had
Wait, so he gets a lot of runes early on as well. Some of these runes can be really strong.
so much like socketed in
+2 to all melees and 2 to 7 fizz. This one is actually insane. Wait, it's also 20% quality. Wait, what?
quality movement speed on. That's how I ended up
Yo, you definitely want to do these lick
getting
mechanics.
some of my movement speed boots. I've never had so much like
That's
socketed
actually
and
insane.
quality gear while leveling.
This
in
is an
Path of Exile
insane
2
level 5
as
gear.
I have with this temple.
So he should be destroying this guy, right? He also bring the wolf like from before to the boss. Crazy damage.
So after
Okay.
my quick 5-minute temple gearing session, I quickly returned to the cemetery.
Yeah,
to
5 minutes
absolutely
temple,
embarrass
and
Draven
then
in
he
wolf
get
form.
like
and then
crazy
I
good
do
gear.
much the same on Lachlan too, which is often
Okay,
a
so I'm
decent
definitely
difficulty
doing the
spike
lick
for a lot
mechanics.
of builds.
Yeah, but people might be misunderstanding this because he got like a +2 and like fist weapons at level 5. It's insane weapons. Does he also have like lightning damage? Because he had shock on there. Thoughts on wolf invokers? I think it's gonna be strong, man. Problem is like, I don't actually play invoker. I mean, well, I kind of did because I do the leveling hollow palm setups, right? But invoker is like crazy with this node, I think. Unbound avatar. Yeah. I think these like 2 point is so efficient for wolf. And then if you're on this side of the tree, you get like a bunch of skill speed. And also a bunch of crits. Or you get a bunch of crits, and then yeah, and then a bunch of like there's like a cold note over here as well. So Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed, right? Invoker's side, the tree is really strong. It's just like what's gonna happen over on this side of the tree. I want to know. And so far, like the first few notes for druids is actually really good. So like the early game is gonna be pretty insane. Yeah, I mean, I'm just clicking druid for now, right? I mean, if oracle is okay, so we have like 3 to 4 hours to kind of plan on if we want to pivot from oracles or not. Which I don't think I want to, because Shaman is more like not my theme, right?
And Wyvern's default attack Rend. So Wing Blast is a bit like Spear's disengage skill. It's a backwards leap that can get you out of harm's way and do some other utility things.
You ended up playing Ice Strike Invoker. It was really strong. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Actually, I thought Monk skill is not. I mean, like okay, Invoker is a strong Ascendancies, right? But I actually think Ice, like Ice Strike or like the Ice skill for Monk is not that crazy. At least last lake, right? Compared to the crossbow setups, and also this lake because there's like Poison Pathfinder. So yeah, I mean, Ice Wolf Oracle might ended up being mid, but then I mean, I'm just gonna go for it, right? Because it's a new class, you get new stuff to figure out, and you can also potentially do the wolf pack in the endgame.
But in this case, it also is a large AoE that stuns primed for stun enemies and triggers an extra explosion for some nice kind of like AoE clear on those stunned enemies. It also generates charges on stunning enemies, power charges with a surpassing chance, it's called. You can scale it past 100% for more charges.
The point is to play on a new Ascendancy.
One change that DGG has already told me about
that's
here
the
with the
point for
Wyvern
me.
is that this skill has been buffed a bit by granting 3 charges now.
We'll see. I mean,
enemies, which is good.
Oracle, you get a bunch of notes, so it should works for both attack and spell build.
3 charges means you can get like 15 seconds plus of empowered attacks or something. You can like chain it through the rest of the boss fight. So I could see you kind of just getting 1 stun and then that carrying you through the rest of the boss fight as you expend all of your charges. So that does sound like
the thing with Amazon. Okay, so the thing with Amazon, right? Because I'm not sure how people is gonna go, for example, Wolf on like Amazon. Because I did play Amazon before, so I know what happens. Now, if you click Amazon, right, you're gonna get Elemental Surge. Okay, so you think Surge is strong, right? Yeah. But Surge only apply to projectiles. And then Wolf basically have 0 projectiles. So I'm not sure how it's gonna be like good. Because this thing is worth buff, right? Because otherwise people just click Stalking Panther and, you know, go the default setups and stack accuracies. Yeah, Surge got buff. But Surge only apply for projectiles. So it doesn't matter. Like, you are just playing Amazon from 0.3. That's it. So, yeah. Its Wolf is better Ice Quarterstaffs. Ice Fragment is projectiles. But then the rest of your skill is not. Wait, this you don't have this? Oh, they changed this to shreds. Yeah, because it was like share the same name with Brick.
So the Rend basic attacks can spend a power charge if you aren't currently buffed to give you.
Yeah, I shard count as projectiles, but like imagine you play this on an actual build that can make like great use of projectiles. Cause the eye shard is kind of conditional. Like if you're thinking about endgame, right? You don't want to freeze every pack of enemies, and then you use shreds to stress the fragments. Like I mean, for endgame, you don't want to do that. You want 1 buttons, right? So any builds that can use just lunar assault or like pounds or like whatever to kill enemies, it's gonna be way better. Ice fragment is supposed to be only for boss. What's that? Yeah, what's up, Maddie? League prep is going pretty good. I'm watching all the videos and trying to get all the Druid information today. So hopefully I'll do some sort of fun video tomorrow. Yeah, that's mossing, but like think about it, like if you clicking 2 ascendancy points and then it's only applied for boss, like there's no I would not do that, right? So if you're playing Amazon, you're playing 0.3 Amazon, so yeah.
You buff with empowered lightning attacks. It gives that skill a much bigger AoE and adds lightning damage. And it does a few other things with a few other skills too. It actually turns it from like a very basic little melee attack into like a pretty hefty,
Wyvern looks so
cleaving
clunky, man.
skill that does quite a lot of damage. Empowered Rend, it is slow, but it is big and chunky and really satisfying, and I'm really
Hopefully we
hoping
get
that there's some
passive tree
potential for,
today.
like,
I don't think we're
melee
getting it
Rend
today.
builds that maintain
We're getting it
empowerment with that,
like
'cause it felt
3 or
really
4
good when I
hours
was
before they
cleaving my way
start.
through packs with it.
Crazy.
Wyvern's early game was definitely the hardest to get the hang of all of the kind of types here. At least when you try to stay purely
Yeah, exactly
in
right.
form, because
Yeah, it's the dumb
again, just like you
versions
can just use something like Wind
evasion,
Blast
you know,
alone for
scaling
melee
crits, and then
escapes skill, and
if
then
you want to
play
use
your
a
bear build, right?
unique
There's no reason
body
you have to
hours,
kind of, like,
Amazon
force
is really
yourself to
good.
stay in any one form if like overall it doesn't feel like it's paying off for you. Still kind of
Do
wrapping
you
my
see
head
the
around that.
PoE tree?
I did also kind of take
I
Wyvern
didn't.
through one of the most difficult areas in the early game here, but once I got
Actually,
through there,
I don't
the
use
first Spirit Gem
X or
gave me
Twitter that
options of
much.
Savage Fury, which is basically a Druid-like Berserk buff that drains your health for a short boost to speed and damage. It looks
I kind of
very
forgot
strong for bossing,
my
and it's probably not too hard
X
to manage that
password.
life loss as long as you got like a flask charge or something.
Gotta
Probably well
maybe
worth it,
look
and
for
I
that a bit
expect
later.
we'll see some use. Anything that boosts your damage and speed for a duration is usually a popular choice. I didn't get to chest it in this run though, as Spirit Gems are pretty hard to get hold of in the campaign, and I instead went for Briar Patch. So this buff stores some melee physical damage that you deal to enemies to automatically place a Thorny Ground when you next cast a
Ziggy for
spell.
sure
So if you put a
show an
volcano down, it'll be
underpower version
surrounded
of
by
Werewolf,
Thorny
Werewolf.
Ground, or if you cast like a Lightning Strike or something, it'll be
Yeah,
Thorny
Herald
Ground as
Ice,
well.
yeah.
It's
Herald
got a built-in
Ice,
delay, but it's super easy to charge up with
Ice
just like a
Bites,
single
right? And then
pounce on
Ice
enemies, for example.
Attunements. I think he was
It's
like
pretty
trying a lot
low
of skills,
impact
so he
overall,
might have like a
Though
bunch
I was
of
thinking
different
that there's
elemental
probably some good
damage.
utility supports that can go on there later.
But if we're
especially for
strictly
playing
going
Druid
for
styles.
like Frost
Between
Wolf
Thorny
and then we
Ground,
scale
Volcano,
just that,
Entangle, and
then
Totem
it should
at
be
this
okay.
point,
I
you have a
mean,
lot of persistent
getting a
effects
bunch of
you can
blinding
dump out
damage,
before
elemental
engaging in
damage
melee.
early game
And
is
they all
pretty
scale
good as
fine
well because
together
you
at
can
this point
shock.
in the game, right? Like, so there's no real reason to just not go ham and use everything. It's just like throw everything in the kitchen sink at the boss and then go in.
Oh,
and
okay,
bare
so
slam
this is
them.
the
You know,
updated
you got
Oracle
time
and
often
Shaman
while most
Ascendancy.
bosses
Yeah,
are doing
we'll
some
take a
sort of
look at that
monologue
later.
To, like, pre-place like
I want to
4
watch
entangles,
2 of
volcanoes,
the
a
Ziggy's
totem,
videos
automatically
and then
place down the other Thorny Ground.
watch
you're absolutely
maybe
gonna go that
Paltron
route.
videos
The other
because he
notable
put out a
Spirit
new
Gem choice that I
videos.
passed up earlier was Herald of
So,
Ice, and I wasn't able
I gotta
to
watch
get my
that,
hands
and
on
then
one for the
because
rest
he's
of the
going
free act
bare,
session,
but maybe
which
he's
is something I
got
wanted to
some fun
note
tech
because
that
it's a bit of
he
a
talk
shame
about,
because
so-
I played it and loved a lot of the wolf form, but I never really felt like I got the full picture of what it plays like to clear as an ice wolf.
It is what
Because
it
it feels
is, right?
crazy that it was
Ziggy
missing
try
a bit
out
of
a lot of
AoE clear. That's
stuff
the
so
thing you
we
probably
can
struggled
have
with the most.
information. It's not meant
And not
to
having Herald of Ice is, like,
showcase the
obviously
power
missing
of the
piece of that
Ascendancy. Like
puzzle.
if we
So
just
keep that in mind as
if we
you watch
just
that wolf
focus on
gameplay
Wolf,
in the
I think it's
future.
gonna be pretty good.
And just mentally add some of your own ice explosions to that gameplay, just to kind of imagine how your werewolf
Weapon
leveling
swap
might
to
go.
quarter slaps
It's already really
for Bell.
satisfying, like doing the icicle explosions and
You have
freezing
to
things and just watching
build
them shatter.
up the.
I can
I mean,
only
for
imagine with
Bell,
Herald of Ice how
right?
satisfying
Bell
that's gonna
and
be.
Lunar
If I
Assault
go wolf, I'll
might
definitely
work.
grab Herald of Ice. For bear, I'd
Maybe
probably
that's all
grab that
like
Savage Fury.
endgame. I mean,
And Briar Patch if I level like a nature style druid, maybe, I don't know. Activating
what
it
did
with
I
pounce,
want if
maybe.
I want a
think it's
weapon
more of a
swap?
specific
It's kind of
build thing.
crazy. Like
It's nice, but definitely not as impactful
on the
as
Druid,
other
right? You
Spirit Gem
have
choices.
Talisman, you have Human Form, so you are like can shift it, and then you basically have like 4 weapons and a bunch of skills.
Late Act 1, you start to get your first weapon set passives, and
You see,
unlike
like
leveling other
the
characters,
bear
I
is
think
like
you really wanna
slamming
start
and like
taking
volcanic
advantage of
stuff.
these right away
It doesn't
if you're going
interest
spells
me
and
as much
shapeshift
as the
combat,
wolf, right?
which are absolutely.
Okay, so
think
these
you should
early
super
notes
fun.
are actually quite good.
Late Act 1, you start like leveling other characters.
Alright, this one get crit chance. Okay, so these are the shifted notes, and they're all pretty
I
good.
think you really want to start taking advantage of these right away if you're going spells and shapeshift combo, which I absolutely think you should. It's super fun. So it's pretty simple initially to start.
And all
doing
these,
this.
generic
if you've never
damage
messed with the
node.
weapon set trees, it only really gets confusing when you try to do respecking typically.
8%
It's when you kind of got
is
to wrap
pretty
your head
good.
around just how it works. But initially you can basically, it's when you kind of got to wrap your head around just how it works.
Okay, so we don't want skill effect durations.
But initially you can
But we get skill effect duration here for later. when we actually have the buff.
Basically, just kind of like throw any duration or clearly
Okay, he doesn't help
spell-oriented
out with the other
clusters on
ones.
the staff weapon set, and any
I'm sure there's
shapeshift or
like
survivability nodes or melee damage
PoE
stuff on the talisman
2DB
set.
gonna mark
I
out all
spent
of
and
that
tinkered with
though.
these a lot as I went, and
But I'm not worried too much about the starting
payoff
area
for it.
right
There's,
now
like,
because we
quite
get
a
like a
lot
bunch of good
it
notes, so
going on
that's
that you
not
can
going to be a problem.
cherry pick between in the Druid area of the tree. It makes sense. I think passive tree support is like super important for this sort of like hybrid playstyle.
Yeah, basically it's
and it's good
4
that
different
kicks
classes,
into gear
right?
pretty early on if you want it.
And see Wolf as a weapon swap when you prime a
For
freeze.
Executioner, I decided to revisit the Bear Slams since they performed pretty well early on. I was keen to see how they were
You
holding up
can
at
weave
this
in
point.
Thunderstorm,
I had
right?
the totem now
make it
to add
easier
in,
to freeze.
and that triggers
And then
the
later on in
jagged
the
ground
endgame,
from
you
the
can
empowered
use
slams to create
overwhelming
another explosion
aura.
for some more bonus combo
Because
damage.
you know there's like a diminishing return times for frozen enemy. Like if you freeze an enemy, there's like a DR until you can freeze the enemy again, right? But I think you can lower that if you're using that overwhelming aura. I kind of forgot the names, but that's what happened, yeah. So that's gonna be one of our aura for the end game.
And
It means
their
that
form
like we
is
can
pretty
actually
amazing
freeze
on
the boss
bosses.
like really
And overall
often.
pretty well rounded. Felt like the most
Yeah, this damage
well-rounded
is
of
nuts,
them,
but I
like,
think he might
powerful
have really
single
good weapons
target,
because he
decent
do the
melee
lick
clear,
mechanics.
maybe a little bit slower. Offset
Not sure if
by
he's
just
using the
switching
level
into
5
form,
weapon, but
and
at
nice
this point you
defensive
should
too.
be using a
It's
better
pretty
base, like level 9 or something. Was it like 9 or
you
10,
can just
right?
use that pounce to form shift into wolf and start sprinting when you move between packs. There's no reason why bear has to feel slow when you can
Overwhelm
instantly
and that unit
shapeshift
stuff
into a wolf
adapt
whenever
to
you want.
freeze. Yeah.
I was really
Holy.
vibing the hybrid wolf bear and human spells.
That
It
glove,
feels
right?
like
But you have
get
to give up the
cherry
glove
pick
spot.
the best parts of every
I mean,
part
it's
of
not
these
a
kind of
problem for
free
us
forms,
because rage
and
is
just
not like a
add them
big thing for
together to
us.
create a
Rage
super
is
build.
like a
Feels like
huge
cheating
thing
a
for
little bit.
bear, right? But for
Adding
wolf,
rage and
rage is only extra
makes it
damage.
really quick to generate rage
And
for
extra
slams as well,
durations.
with 3 mauls giving you enough for like 2 slams back to back. And when you start
Metal
double
Gems,
and triple
Thunderstorm
volcano
as
slamming
Invoker,
bosses,
yeah. I mean, you're on the Invoker train. I'm like, all I can think about is on the Druid and Oracle.
oh,
Man, this guy
yeah,
got
so
destroyed.
good. Poor Candlemass and indeed poor Geonor. Guy really got outclassed on this whole shape-shifting trope, even after selling his soul for it, right? So anyway,
I know what unique items you are talking about. Okay, so I think that's the glove, right? But the glove was like, was it stun or something? Wait, is that a new glove? Immobilize. This one, yeah. So you use this one, and then you just freeze at 50. That's actually crazy. But then you don't need to use. Wait, so does that actually lower the prime thresholds? Because prime threshold is like around 50. Yeah, they changed this to more. It's insane. If it's like also lower. Wait, I don't know. I don't actually think it does. It just mean that you don't really need to use Optical. It's level 65. Yeah, okay, so we probably want to hunt for this early on as well. I wonder like how rare is this, because I don't remember seeing this in 0.3. It might be rare, it might be really cheap. But I think, yeah, changed it to more is gonna make this a lot more useful for hunter build. Imagine a file 1 versions that remove the... No, it's not negative in 0.4. This is gonna be a more. Which is why it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, more, right? 20. It's basically 1 support gems. But yeah,
anyway, I don't know if you can hear in the background, but I have a newborn baby and our family is all sick right now. So I'll end part 1 of this preview
crazy.
here. And
Ziggy has
optimistically
like newborn
hope to be
baby
able
and
to
he's
get
still
part 2
pumping
before
out
launch
like
if I
new
can.
videos.
I'll try. Forgive me in advance if it's a bit later or if I can't make it. At times like this, I think it's best
Alright,
to celebrate the
great
small
videos.
wins.
I mean, I
Like,
already
you know,
watched it. I like
making
it
the
already.
part
But
1
if you
preview
guys
and getting
haven't,
it published. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed
This
it.
is the
And
video.
I hope that helps a few of you see a bit more of the Druid.
It's the first
potentially,
part of the
you know, the fun that has to offer you if you're a bit unsure
first part of
based
the
on that
Druid.
initial review.
Anyway,
feel like-
yeah, second.
G'day folks, Ziggy D here, back
Wait, so this one I haven't watched, so prefer no spoiler.
with part 2 of my Druid hands-on preview. Thanks again to GGG for flying me over to the studio, and keep in mind that this
Wait, those are Arbiter's glove? As in, isn't Arbiter is getting Arbiter is getting like stronger? Holy.
footage is a week old,
Okay,
and
I mean, it might
non-final.
be expensive
Things
then.
can and have changed. If you didn't see the
We can
previous video
expect
part 1, then check that
10
out
divine
for context,
on the
as
first
this
day.
video builds upon that one. Now just a
Or,
note
you know, it
on
might
my
be
overall power level,
20
as that was a
divines.
topic of discussion
Actually, I don't
in
know
the
if
first
it's
video.
worth like 20
To help you
divines,
gauge
but
kind of where I'm at,
anything
it's a
less
little bit tricky
than
because
10
baseline
or
I think
5
my gear
div, or
overall
maybe
was
1
pretty
div, I'll
solid,
buy it
quite
on
good in
first
Act
day.
1, and then pretty reasonable to good for what I think
But
will
he's
be
like
the
he's like trying out all the things, and then all these skills are doing damage. So I feel like the class itself, or like the skill gem itself, is just really strong.
case with the Vile Temples. That
And imagine like if it go to if they just nerf everything, like at least they're gonna nerf the numbers when the patch arrive. I'll be so bad.
everyone's going to have access to, in addition to Abyss crafting and the other various improvements that have been made there. Like, I think our gear is looking pretty good, but I didn't have anything super crazy in Act 2 and 3. But I was able to fix bad slots when needed for the most part. The biggest gap was spellcaster weapons affecting spell power level, so they were all a little bit more underpowered than they probably should be to look at. Also, due to skipping through some of the larger zones and missing a side quest or two, I ended up a bit underleveled and underpassived. And because I'm trying to test as many different setups as possible, my gem levels and
this is like
supports
a
are
rare
all a little
monster,
bit
right?
bad for a long time.
Is he supposed to be tanky? Cause we can see he's kind of weak to ice damage, and Ziggy is not doing a lot of damage.
I'm quite a few levels behind on some skills and
Okay,
don't
so
have
he's level
supports kind of
behind.
filled out for
Like he's
nearly
behind on
everything.
skills level.
So probably a
I'm
bit
not
better
sure
than
if
average
it's
gear,
behind
but a bit
Wolf.
worse than average passives and gems. Anyway, make of that what you will. As I move into Act 2, I get
What's
a
up,
chance to
Creel?
cut my first level 5 gem, and this tier gives access to some pretty key skills for a few of the Druid
Yeah, Entangle
playstyles.
is
We've got
2 shining
Thunderstorm
mobs.
with synergies
Crazy.
for plant, lightning, and cold damage builds. More on those later.
The Herald of
Devour
Ice is
for much easier
for
charge
AoE,
generation on the
but-
Wyvern, pretty
but
key
I'm
piece
just
for
like
those
thinking
builds.
about single
And
target
Arctic
damage.
Howl for
Wolf.
freeze werewolves. And then Fury of the
So
Mountain
like Arctic
for the
Howl,
bear
yeah.
form,
That's
which is
something
what I
you
take
probably
first.
use in early game.
And this one is excellent. This is a slam skill that creates
Okay, so-
fissures. You can have up to 12
Slam.
of them out at a time.
Cool. Wait, you can do 12 of these slams?
And it generates rage on hit. This skill immediately replaced Maul as the basic attack for bear for me, since it does the same role of rage generation, and Fury of the Mountain does a whole
Wait, this thing look like volcanic fissures snacking. They might cook.
lot more in addition to that too.
It's auto-targeting. Bro, move down is so sick.
As a Fisher skill, Shockwave Totem can trigger
It's Fissure, right? Does it like shotgun like volcanic fissure and hit like 3 times?
bonus pulses, so that's a lot of extra damage for you.
Is this
And
shotguns? I
there's
don't think it's
even
shotguns,
better
right?
news here. The pulses can also generate rage on each hit in addition to that initial slam.
Wait, what? Wait.
So pulses can also generate damage for you, and there's even better news here. The pulses can also generate rage on each hit in addition to even totem.
Wait, what? No. Wait,
A
what?
whole lot more in addition to that too.
You get a bunch of pulls and then you generate like a bunch of rage on each hit? Wait, what? That doesn't sound balanced.
As a fish,
Wait, what? You get 12 L, you get a bunch of pulls, and each of those hits generate rage? And then you can support with rage? Oh, wait, what? Is that like perma
this
rage?
skill, Shockwave Totem can trigger bonus pulses, so that's a lot of extra damage for you. And there's even better news here. The pulses can also generate rage on each hit in addition to that initial slam. So the totem fissures just keep pulsing and they keep your rage topped up while you spend it slamming away. It's really nutty. So crazy, in fact, that I thought it probably wasn't intended and was a bug. So I
Guys, he's getting this shit nerf.
asked the developers, and they're like, "Oh, we'll take a look at that." But then I asked Mark in the Q&A. He said, "You know, it actually should work that way because that's fun and cool." And true to their word, I double checked, and that seems to be the plan. So it's a really sick rage generator skill there. That
Guys, he's coping. This thing is getting nerf on launch. He's coping.
passive ongoing rage generation is super nice for bear form, routing that out a lot. And on top of that, for Fury of the Mountain, since it's a slam skill, each of the initial hits can trigger volcano projectiles, so you can toss down your...
Guys, the hits give rage, and then each of the hits also trigger the volcano? There's no way this is real, right? Yo, what's up, Ziggy D? Thanks for the 100 bits.
volcano projectiles and slam those out. As a bit of a side note, that's kind of related to this.
This is not going live. I don't think it is. I'm not playing Bear, but I don't think that thing is going live. It's crazy. Wait, that's like perma rage.
In the updated patch notes, they just posted that the rage decay rate was halved and the time before it begins increased from 2 to 4 seconds. So it's now much easier to keep rage up between packs as well. So all...
Okay, but you know what? Low key, I don't want this thing nerfed. Because if Bear is way too strong, they're gonna buff Wolf as well. So I don't want this thing nerfed.
around rage and bear form is looking really comfy to play. There's so many lines of combo interactions going on here with like the bear form kind of approach. You've got Volcano being triggered by Fury of the Mountain and Furious Slam. Then you've got Shockwave Totems triggering the Fissures from Fury of the Mountain and the Jagged Ground that you create with Empowered Furious Slams. And it's all fueled by the continuous rage generation going on from the totems triggering the Fissures on enemies, powering those Furious Slams.
Forge Hammer and Crazy Druid Fissures. I actually don't play Warrior or Slam too much, so I actually don't know about the interactions. Well, does Bear look kind of fast? Because I think it is. It looks kind of fat, but he's fast.
It's kind of looping. There's a lot of feedback
They have
loops
Summon
of damage
Wolf like
going on here.
before does.
It's pretty,
yeah, I think we have,
pretty
we have counts,
satisfying
right?
bossing.
And
it's
there's
actually
like
pretty
okay, so in
straightforward
the
to play
data
as well. You don't
mine,
really
not
have to
data
think
mines, but
about
PoE
all of those
2DB,
like complex
there's
lines
like
of play. You just kind of do all the things on top of
Summon
each other.
Wolf
It works
Companion
great.
something.
So I didn't actually play this setup for too long because I
He
was a bit
might
unsure
showcase
if
that
Fury of the
later.
Mountain was working as intended. So I don't think
But
I
this
did
video
it
is long,
full
right? So
justice
he might
gameplay
play all the
wise.
way
But
until like
basically,
later
you
acts.
can drop a volcano or two with the extra charge. And
Yes, there's
a
the wolf
totem,
pack
then Fury of the
skills.
Mountain, a couple fishes out.
Okay, then
pounce
we'll see it
via
in
wolf
here.
form, and then Furious Slam repeatedly until everything is dead or you repeat that cycle. At higher levels, I think
Yeah,
you'll be able
he's
to work
playing
in
wolf
Ferocious
minions.
Roar with Infernal Cry. It should be
Is he
great
playing it
addition
on
for some extra
Druid
fire
or
damage, and
like Oracles?
Rampage could also be lots of fun to use instead of or before the slams, maybe, to trigger the fishes as you run around. Anyway, I'm sure many of you at this point are sold on Bear. I know I am. So let's take a look at some of the other things.
Guys, I am not so on Bear. How many people in chat are so on Bear? How many? Is it 50%?
Arctic Howl is a Cold Warcry-like skill for werewolf form that deals some cold damage in an area and knocks them back. Mainly though, this one insta-freezes any enemies that are primed for freeze, which is, I believe...
Wait, yeah, these are primed for freeze, right? It looks like, primed for stun have this. So if you have Arctic Howl equipped, you know what enemies is primed for freeze.
anything over 70% freeze build-up on bosses and lower for other enemies. Upon freezing enemies or hitting an already frozen enemy, Arctic Cry gives your allies bonus cold damage and chill.
Wait, okay, so it's good. I was worried that you have to prime freeze enemies to proc the buff, but apparently you can use it if it's like on frozen enemies. Okay, so it's not as awkward.
Ground generation, and it empowers some of your own attacks with added cold damage. So the fact that it works on already frozen enemies is really key to it not being awkward to use. I mean, it's great when it lets you freeze enemies earlier, especially bosses, but in most cases, regular enemies are just frozen from one lunar assault anyway,
Yo,
right?
the wolf
You're doing so
speed
much
is
damage proportional
insane.
to
I
health, you have
love
so
it.
much freeze build up
Looks so
scaling that
snappy.
everything's frozen, you don't really get it. You kind of miss your
I mean,
opportunity if it was like
it
that.
looks so cool.
So there's
Right?
like
I
a
don't
support
care. I'm
element to
clicking
this skill that'll be pretty interesting for party play, or of course minion builds like wolf pack
As long
builds.
as it can.
But I should note that in the
kill
version of
enemies,
the game that
I'm
I was
clicking
playing at this
this.
point, the wolf minion parts of the druid were still being finalized, so it's not something I could really gauge. An issue of this particular Lunar Assault and Shred style with Arctic Howler that I noticed
I want
is
to
that
see
any
two
empowers
boss
often end up just
damage.
getting used by a quick shred
Because
attack,
that's usually
which
where
is pretty
people
low
have
impact
issues.
for an empower. Empower typically makes more
So I want
sense
to see
for
that.
big
I
heavy
see.
hits like
I want to
slams,
see
where the limited
Ziggity
nature
do
of
that on
those
Wolf.
empowerments fits better, right?
I think he's
And that's
enjoying
somewhat at
Wolf right
odds
now
with the
because he's
wolf, which
playing
is
Wolf,
pretty fast
right?
and lots of really fast little hits.
Yo, what if they
It's
have the
possible that
unique
it
for
could be
Wolf
used
that
to
turn
empower
Demon Wolf
maybe like
bear?
a pure lunar assault setup more for
What I'm
clearing
worried,
that.
okay, what I'm worried about is they might have an unique for Wolf, just like the bear one, but they're gonna like force you into playing Wolf minions. Because ideally, I want to play Frost Wolf and go crits. But if the unique items actually force you to play kind of like a Wolf Pack minions playstyles, then that will be kind of annoying. So hopefully they make two, right? We can only hope.
I imagine, with Herald of Ice at Endgame. So I'm sure we'll figure out a place for.
But if I have to pivot into like a cold wolf pack, that's fine too. We gotta be flexible because we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right. I'm also wondering if it like has potential as a piece in some sort of mix.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so yeah, Happy, you made a good point. Like freeze durations is really strong for wolf because the longer the boss freeze, the longer you're gonna claw out those ice fragments.
Mixed melee builds, like I don't know, wolf.
And also, like, I don't like mace, right? So yeah, like, and they need to add like sword or something in the games because mace is so stupid.
Monks or something. Despite
What
Empower not
ascendancy am I
adding much for
taking?
my
I'm
playstyle, I still
taking
ended up using this
oracles.
skill
I
as a
already
way to
made
freeze
a
bosses
written
early,
guy as well.
and I also linked it to Ice Bite
If
as
you
a way
guys
to generate the Ice
type in the
Bite damage buff.
comments, you should
So that was nice, but definitely lower impact
the
than some of the
written
other
guy on
skills that we got for the
Mobilix.
wolf form. Early in Act 2, I had my next entrance to the Val Temple, and things started getting more interesting
I'll
with
be
more
updating
options
that
for rooms and
before next
actual
start as
room
well.
upgrading occurring. For example, linking the workshop to the bronze workers, which I was able to place to create 4.
Okay, so I already know the Falcons blasters. They're not gonna do this mechanics. Cause it's not like you have to build like temples and stuff. But I'm gonna do like a bunch of temples. I think it looks really nice.
Tier 2 rooms. I think ways to upgrade guardhouses are also possible at this level, as I recall seeing those a little bit later on. So this is still very simple, early intro tutorial level sort of stuff here, before you unlock the time travel version of the temple later on. But with further improved crafting and loot rooms now at this point, so it's a bit more impactful on your gear upgrading. The special rare monsters in some of the rooms were pretty spicy as well, but the Icicle Shred Wolf action seemed to be getting more and more effective as I progressed, and I didn't have too many difficulties.
What I want to do is like do temples, figure out some really cool cloud bomb units. Alright, so this one is also weak to cold damage. Yeah, that's the way we are gonna eat goods. Most of these wait, so 2 of the rares I see are weak to cold damage. Are you part of the PoE 2 Twitch drop for the Game Award? Wait, you had to be part of it? I thought you just need to stream it. Did you have to be like a part, or you have to sign up for drops? I think we just need to watch it, right? Yeah, I'm in the PoE 2 categories, right? No, it sounds so cool. You have to set category to Game Award? Okay, I'll do that when it happens. Can you guys check? Wait, you guys can check, right? Because if you wait, oh, I have to check. The end stream elements block. Wait, what? I don't block it. If you're planning to stream the game award, you have to enable Twitch drop on your viewers. Twitch creator dashboard, okay. Wait, why you have to enable it? You just need to be in the category, right? Because I streamed like a bunch of drop streams before. It's in
after
3
my
hours,
little
so
temple
let's
foray
just
to
finish
upgrade
the
my
video.
gear, I pieced out and went right into the Rudia fight, where we get to see the power of freeze scaling this setup has access to here.
I actually might not stream the game award. I'm just gonna watch it offline or like watch it on someone else's stream.
I'm not ready yet.
I just want to look at all the Druid stuff and make some videos before like start. Bro, we do good damage. This is good damage, and then a lot of bosses also weak to cold damage, so I think Wolf will be fine.
See the to upgrade my free gear, I pieced out and indeed after my little temple foray to upgrade.
So basically, he's just doing temples, and then temples give really good items. Are you starting straights with the Druid this seasons? I'm starting straight with Druid. If you're new here, I have a written guides on my Frostwolf Oracles. I mean, it's like not a guide, right? Because we don't have anything, but I'll be updating that with whatever information I have.
Upgrade my gear,
And on
I pieced
Lixar as
out
well.
and went right into the Rudia fight, where we get to see the power of freeze scaling this setup has access to here.
Right, so he freeze. And then he's that shredding. Shreds, right? That's the skills.
I'm not ready yet.
I mean, this is good damage. It's good damage to me.
I think she got to do like one flamethrower attack in between long freezes, which is starting to get
And then the freeze looks like it's built up fast again. Like it's only like 3 seconds.
scaled by some freeze.
Right, so after you freeze the boss, there's like a small DR where you're not gonna build up the freeze as fast.
I'm not ready.
So this is gonna be like pretty slow. See, it's only 2%. It's only 2% each.
I think she got to do like one flamethrower attack in between.
Okay, so that was like 3 seconds. I wonder if you can use Ancestral Cry as Wolf in Wyvern. Ancestral Cry. I mean, can you like just swap over to Bear and do it? And then it's gonna snapshot. Anyway, yeah, so like it's only 3 seconds and then it start freezing again.
Long freezes, which are starting to get scaled by some freeze duration buffs at this point from the tree and supports. She didn't even get it.
Okay, so what is kind of awkward is that Arctic House is supposed to give you like the buff, right? But you burn through it so fast because you're just like slashing with like small damage. So the empower attack, if it's not like, okay, so if it's like lasts like by how many seconds, then it's fine. But if it lasts like by how
Get a
many
chance,
attack, then it's not gonna be as good.
To get scaled by some freeze duration
Doesn't show on here.
buffs at this point from the tree and supports. She didn't even get a chance to do her final melee form. Ooh. So after that, I got to try out Thunderstorm. This is a spell that has a lot of different applications. It strikes.
Do you get the donations in-game award for giving? I don't think you get any. Wait, I think you just watch the sub for items. I think is for Lickstart only. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna watch the game award. I might just tune in someone else stream and watch. How is he breaking armor?
Strikes an area with lightning out Thunder's final melee from freeze duration buffs.
Yeah, how is he breaking armors? None of the ore spell actually break armor. Is the small wolf break armor? Poor gems?
At this point, from the thrower attack in between long. I think she got to do like one flame.
He doesn't really talk about, right?
I think she got to do like one flamethrower attack in between long freezes, which are starting to get scaled by some freeze duration buffs at this point from the tree and supports. She didn't even get a chance to do her final melee form. Ooh. So after that, I got to try out Thunderstorm. This is
sorry, Thunderstorm, the only thing it does is 25% more freeze build-up, but like with how much we have freezing, it's actually gonna be pretty good. So we can weave this in, especially if there's like a nodes that give you bonus if you cast a spell, and then give you like, I don't know, bonus after you've done like melee attack or something.
a spell that has a lot of different
so you
applications.
can kind of like weave in spell.
It strikes an area with lightning bolts over a long duration,
What does
so it's just another sustained damage
basically
thing you can
give
throw
you,
in. But it's
like,
a combo piece
you
for
do
quite a
more
few setups
physical
because
damage.
the rainstorm like also creates, well, rain. It moistens things. The rain drenches enemies. I feel like this is a meme skill at this point.
You
so
think
PoE,
AoE would give
making them
overlapping
have,
explosion? Explosion of
it
what?
makes them have substantial buffs
The
to
ice
the chance to be
fragments?
shocked
I don't
and their
think
freeze
so.
build up on the enemies that are drenched.
I think ice fragment is
That
like
rain also
strictly
waters your plants.
hits once, but like you create
So
a bunch
silly.
of them.
We'll take a look at that one later.
So like,
but for
I
now,
mean, it's
pretty
already
effective as a
overlapping,
booster
right? But
akin
it's like
to, say,
small
Volcano for Ice
damage.
Wolf. We just throw it down for spectral.
And then later on you have cross slash, which we already know that's gonna pull the ice fragments into the boss.
Damage. I used the extra charge to be able to get 2 of them out from the support. Overabundance, and that was a noticeable amount of extra sustained damage. And then on top of that, it would moisten the enemies,
Oh, you
making
fought
them
the boss
even
a
easier
few
to
minutes
freeze.
ago.
Not that I
compared to
really needed
Bullseye
that
is a
at
bit
this point.
slow.
Pretty nice on
I
bosses
mean, Bullseye
and
is
rares,
like
and it
legit
gave
the
me a bit
best
of
single
boosted
target
kind of
damage
area
skills for
denial
leveling.
management, since I didn't get to try Herald of Ice in my testing with this playstyle, so I
It's
was
like
lacking
big
a little bit of
damage,
that
right?
AoE clear, which this helped to make up for.
All I want is like mid, okay? I don't want bad, I want mid. Like
It
I
was
can
pretty
work with
satisfying pinning the
mid,
Jin
I don't
in a
want bad.
corner. She's usually quite the pest, this boss, teleporting
Okay,
around
so
and
yeah,
everything.
like how about
And
this
the
boss
ice
then?
shards stack
Look, we
and
freeze
explode
them.
right under her when it gets against a wall like this as well. You can get that nice shotgunning going on.
That's
It's
pretty
pretty
good,
awesome,
yeah,
even though I
that's
actually
pretty
kind of
good
screwed up the
shotguns.
combo by backing off when she was frozen to do some other spells. I should have kept just
I
shredding
mean, that's
away.
good damage.
Anywho, I grabbed Devour next and just give it
Devour, okay, that one give power charge, right? Yeah, Devour give power charge.
a brief test. This skill allows you to leap onto a colorable enemy or
It
corpses
is big
and
damage,
eat their
yeah, it's
bloody
depending on
faces.
gear.
Eating
If
faces
you're
gives you a
playing,
flat regen buff to
martial
heal
or
up
like,
and
you know,
generates
attack
power charges
build,
for you
right?
as well.
Weapons, okay, weapons, rings, and glove make huge difference. Like the difference between getting like flat damage on these ring and don't have the flat damage is like night and day. Ice fragment no longer shotguns. You don't know if it's true. I mean, why? Like, how would it shotguns? I mean, it's already explored, right? Later on, you get cross slash, which basically pull everything in the middle of the cross slash, so everything would overlapping anyway. So it's like by default. So how would you not shotguns? It's basically like you have to shotguns, right? But it's not like others. It's not like other skill shotguns, right? It's intended to shotguns.
Well, this skill represents a pretty big turnaround for the power charge issue for light.
What do we know, Oracle, that make it good for Wolf?
Why then?
We don't know.
It makes it really easy to sustain.
Literally, we don't know. We don't know if this Oracle is good for Wolf, for plants, or for anything, because we don't have information. But what I do know is that it looks interesting. I want to play it. And also, I think GGG also revealed the Ascendancies, right? So these should be updated. I'm gonna take a look at this a bit later after the video.
Empowered lightning form while clearing. It's not like killing Palm on Monk, I think, since the fact that you can use it on corpses means that you can basically use it when you want. You're not trying to like time that very narrow window of trying to get some cullable enemy to cull. I was surprised by how good Devourer felt overall to use. I think skills like this are normally very clunky, but they've made this like as forgiving and as strong
Like, I'm
as
gonna
they
go
dared
Shaman
to, I suspect.
if Oracle is
The issue is, of
unplayable,
course,
okay?
that
Let's just
in
say
boss
that.
fights, you just don't have anything
Otherwise,
to cull unless they have some
going
ads or
Oracles.
corpses nearby. It seems that most
I wanna
boss
figure out
fights
some
don't
stuff.
really have a plentiful supply of that in PoE 2 currently. So you do have that issue of not having access to Devourer during the entirety of boss fights, meaning you still rely on that kind of like stun build-up Wing Blast, and that makes Power Charged Lightning Wyvern a bit of a tough nut to crack for bossing at this point in the campaign still. Like maybe there exists some nice solutions with supports and things later on, but it only really works well for clearing at this point. Of course,
See, he like Wolf. Like, he's not playing Bear right now.
Orb and Volcano
playing
combo
Wolf.
exist as a fairly potent fallback for many bosses, as long as they're not like too small and mobile. And Thunderstorm as an extra addition now gives you a shock boost and some extra sustained damage that you can weave in.
And leave you to the sand! I shall
Yeah, he's
dethrone
quite
you,
tanky. He
Sycamore,
tanked that.
and leave you to the sand!
Amazon is probably
So
good for
sending
Wolf.
in Sekimas was up next, and I think any of the
We
strategies can work here.
went over like
Even
half
Wyvern,
hours
so
ago.
duration
why it's not
spell
good.
spam, you
Why
just go
is it
slow and
not
safe,
good
that should
for
work just fine. Bear form with Fury of the Mountain Fishes and Totems for just like really easy ranged melee should be super safe. And then even Wyvern with Volcano, Storm, and Magma at range should just be like a nice easy range spellcaster approach if you want to go that route. I end up going
You wonder if there's a cap to eye shards? I don't think there's a cap. Basically, you scale attack speed and then you scale freeze durations. I guess. I mean, that's one way to
going
scale
for
it.
possibly the hardest wolf form as it's kind of proper melee, but that said, it's decently powerful and it goes just kind of fine with a bit of hit and run and taking advantage of freeze. But I have practiced a lot of Sekima's runs, so that does help. I suggest maybe going for one of the other routes or just getting a little bit overpowered and doing some hit and run freeze action if you're going wolf form in Sekima's.
Out for the slam!
I need more time for that! So much heft, and still you fall like the rest.
So, as for Ascending, Oracle felt like a bit of a rabbit hole that I didn't want to dive into in my somewhat limited time, so I ended up going for the a bit more straightforward and fun-looking Shaman. Interestingly, the node that I actually took got changed as I was playing, so that's what happens when you're playing on the live dev version of the game in the end. No point showing you the earlier version, but the newer version gave enemies in my presence exposure and 10% extra damage as random element, which is fun and fits with the node that I get later on too. Funnily, it took me way too long to figure out
Where he does 0 boons.
fits with the ads and into and
So much heft, and still you fall like the rest.
Yeah, totally.
so as for Ascending, Oracle felt like a bit of a
When
rabbit hole that I didn't want to dive into in my
You should have
somewhat
go
limited time,
oracles,
so I ended up going
you
for
could
the a
have
bit
show
more
us like some of
straightforward
the
and
notes.
fun-looking Shaman. Interestingly, the node that I actually took got
Yo,
changed
Tai-Ai, what's
as I
up?
was
Thanks for the
playing,
Prime.
so that's what happens when you're playing on the live dev version of the game in the end. No point showing you the earlier version, but the newer version gave enemies in my presence exposure and 10% extra damage as random element, which is fun and fits with the node that I get later on too. Funnily, it took me way too long to figure out how I was giving enemies exposure because this just happened in the background. It was a different node when I picked it, right? It didn't have that mechanic at all. I was very confused until I eventually just randomly looked at my Ascendancy and was like, huh, that looks different. So, with some bonus elemental damage online, I head back into Act 2 with my beloved wolf form to test out the new cross slash skill that I picked up at some point. This executes
Alright, cross slash. I think this is one of the best new skills.
a short hopback with a massive X-shaped slash. It's a pretty important skill for
Can
many
you
wolf
skill
builds
that?
for two main reasons. It triggers any marks on the target, which in the case of Predator's Mark from Pounce,
So you pounce
means that you
in,
can summon wolves on demand.
and then you cross slash right away.
I imagine that also means that you can explode
Is it gonna be good?
Load
Like,
for
what's
on
the
demand.
cooldown of this?
in the wolf build hopback with a massive X-shaped slash.
Okay, so it's a
It's a pretty
fast
important
cooldown,
skill for many
faster
wolf
than
builds
pounds.
for two main reasons.
Pounce
it triggers
has longer
any marks
cooldown
on the
than,
target,
Cross Slash,
which
is
in
good.
the case of Predator's Mark from Pounce
So you
means
pounce
that you
in,
can
you
summon
just
wolves on
Cross Slash.
demand. I imagine
On
that also
demand,
means
yeah.
that you can
Holy,
explode
this is so
freezing or
cool.
voltaic marks with it
I
too,
mean,
if
we
you
are
want to
so
get some extra
playing
damage
this,
from
by
that.
the way.
And on top of that, when triggering marks this way, Cross Slash causes an extra shockwave of damage too. And then for the Ice Werewolf builds, Cross Slash is very powerful, as it scoops up any of those
You have a 25 gig updates for PoE 2.
ice fragments in the area and dumps them
You
all in the
haven't
middle
logged
of
in
that
since
X.
0.2.
That means that you go from sometimes
Only
hitting
problem
bosses
is
or
force
rares
move.
with
I don't think it's
half
gonna
or
be a
so of the
problem.
icicles to being able
It
to
looks
hit them
cool as
with
heck.
every single
Like,
icicle every time
you
if
jump
you time
back
it right.
and then
That's a
you
big
use other
burst damage
skills and
boost to
it's
the build.
like jump to the enemies.
So this
right?
unlocks
So
like a new play strategy now.
it's
It
not
looks
like
a
you
little
jump back
something
and you
like
have to
pounce in,
like,
marking the enemy,
go back,
lunar
right?
assault, and maybe an Arctic howl to freeze
It's pretty
them.
cool to me.
Then go for a full shred combo and cross
And the
slash
jumping
to
is not
dump
that
all of
bad.
the
It's
icicles
it's
from
like
that
a
shred
hop,
combo
right? It's
on
not
them,
like
and
you're
then start
jumping back,
shredding
it's like a
again while
hop.
those explodes until the enemies unfreeze. Then when it's unfrozen or you finish your next combo, hit another cross
Wolf is
slash for
so
good measure to
fast,
scoop
too.
up all the rest of those little icicle
This
shards.
is PoE 2, by the
With a
way.
bit of attack speed
Wolf is
scaling, it seems like you
fast,
definitely
okay,
get
guys?
time for like 2 full shred combos during the course of a lot of freezes. Especially if you start
Look at
scaling
that,
freeze
that is
duration as
cool.
well.
And then the enemies look like it's also targeting your wolf as well, so it's like pretty safe. And there's a bunch of fragment right here. Yeah. It's good damage, dude. I don't know, like, okay, so he might be under-invest into wolf at this point, and it still do a lot of damage. Are you planning to go for the passive skill at first with oracles? I'll take a look at the Oracle Ascendancy in a bit, and then I'll decide on what's my first 2-point, right? Because that's what you get in the campaign.
The hopback part of the cross slash could have felt annoying. There's been cases where this has been, you know, the case for other skills. Especially when trying to do like single target damage, you don't really want to be like going away from the enemy trying to damage.
You think Druid
But
is
in
going
this
to be
case,
OP?
didn't feel like an issue,
I
thanks
think
to
they
Shred
play
having that
tested it a
built-in mini
lot,
leap
so
to the
like in
target on
terms
the
of
first
OP,
attack. That
I
made
don't think it
feel
will
really smooth
be,
and
but
satisfying.
it's not
and
going to
only
be
like kind
weak,
of added
okay?
to that already crazy
It's going to
mobility
be
feeling
balanced,
of the
is
werewolf
what I
form.
hope. And then
The
if
leaping
you
in and
think
out really
about OP,
smoothly.
it might be
They really, I think, captured
another
the
class, right?
frenzied feeling of what I want
something
from a
that
werewolf.
they
Something about the
forgot
way
to
like you
test.
pounce in and then tear away with your hands is very satisfying. It often makes it feel like, oh man, I'm just like dismantling these bosses. I'm pulling
Yeah,
them
like
apart
he's
limb by
loving wolf
limb.
form.
It's good. It plays
He's
into
like
the fantasy, even though
soul
like I
on
wasn't
bear
initially
form,
on
but
board
now he's
with
just
the
playing wolf.
ice
And then look, it's like,
form
okay,
of
look,
this. It's like into the fan.
it's one claw and then enemy is frozen. Like how good
It's
is
good, it
that?
plays-
Like it's way better than. Okay, so think about this. We get Lunar Assault at level 1, and then compare it to like the crossbow skill that you have Perma Frostbolt, right? Perma Frostbolt is like. Okay, so it did get buff, right? So it pierce, but Lunar Assault is way better than Perma Frostbolt. And then you have the combo for single target damage. It's kind of like straightforward, but you know, maybe we'll find some broken interactions with it in a bit. Someone brought to my attention, right, that there's a note right here called Tribal Fury. I'm not sure if this is gonna stay, but strike deals splash damage. So how is this gonna work with Luna Assault? So we'll see, right? We'll path to this. Cause I remember in the passives, like in the new passives, right? There's a keystone right here. I think that's the talisman and scepters. So we need to path over here anyway. So it's like only a few points to path over here for Tribal Furies, right? So it's splash, right? So we'll see. We'll try to click this and see what happens. At this point, it's unknown.
Plays into the fantasy, even though like I wasn't initially on board with the ice form of
Pathfinder
this. Like I
wolf,
feel like
maybe.
I'm surprised it wasn't kind of like a more physical
Pathfinder is
blood
like one of the
oriented
best
setup,
late game
but I guess
right
they have
now,
a more of an
'cause you
overall
can, run
elemental theme for the
Adorn.
druid, and the ice wolf is is a bit more unique, I suppose. I'm on board at this point.
But I think you go Poison Odeon, right? Because
So in
Poison is
Keth,
like massively buff. If you don't know, right, Pathfinder, you basically lost this, which means you get access to this node like way sooner. So you just go Poison Pathfinder and yeah.
found a support gem and put AoE on cross slash, which is probably unnecessary, but it was satisfying.
Yo,
Anime
Anime Die, what's up?
It's already like huge. I could see some nice screen-sized X marks the spots on bosses being pretty funny. And I had a pretty interesting encounter here too. So the first unique boss that I saw on a Vile Sacrifice platform kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Unfortunately for them, I instantly froze them and was about to finish them off before they even had a chance to do anything. But I decided to hold back and just give them a chance. I wanted to see what the boss did.
Bro, what is that damage?
Hold back and just give them a chance.
Wait.
I found to do it. So the first unique boss that I saw on a Vile Sacrifice platform kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Unfortunately for them, I instantly froze them and was about to finish them off before they even had a chance to do anything. But I decided to hold back and just give them a chance. I wanted to see what the boss did.
What do you think about Invokers in 0.4? I think Invoker, they buff it a little bit, right? But Invoker is just strong. Nothing really changed. As a matter of fact, I think Invoker... Okay, so... I thought the Monk skills, like the eye skills for Monk, is kind of weak. So maybe Druid's gonna like go for Wolf form Invokers, and it's gonna be really strong. With Unbound Avatar, right? Apocalypse and Avatar of Evolutions are broken on Wolf. Apocalypse is
shortly
very
after
skill,
that,
right?
in this fun tomb encounter,
What's
I was
Avatar of
really
Evolutions?
sad that I didn't choose Herald of Ice earlier. Oh man, that's gonna be so satisfying there.
Going Druid? Yeah,
But
I'm going
launches
Druid.
soon, I can
I'm
try
going
that again,
Druid. I
perhaps.
have a written guide for it, and I'll be updating that.
And finally for Keth, finding new and fun ways to torment the sad fire baby boss is a personal hobby of mine. I don't know if you've heard of this genre of activity, but I'm pleased to report that...
How much HP do you think they have right now? If it's like below 50%, it's broken.
Wolf form has a pretty fresh...
Bro.
The sad fire baby boss.
He's not even in right now. He's not optimizing. You can actually one rotation this boss without he showing any HP. He's wasting time casting this. Or like he should be casting this from here and then pounce.
Boss is a personal hobby
Bro,
of
what?
mine. I don't know if you've heard of this genre of activity, but
And then he has no little wolf. Okay, he has 3. Wait. Okay, he goes in with 1 and then he cross slash for 2. Wait, does it spawn 2?
hobby of mine.
Bro,
for
what
Keth,
is this
finding new and
damage?
fun ways to torment the sad fire
Okay, he has 1 right
baby
now.
boss is...
And then this means the boss is freeze faster, right? And then this damage is probably
It's
minuscule.
a personal hobby of mine. I don't know if you've heard of
Cross slash.
this genre of activity, but
Now he does cross slash, so it's a bit slow. You're supposed to pounce cross slash, right? And then maybe Arctic Howl, or like basically you want to summon wolf as soon as possible, because the Arctic Howl also buff your wolf. Wonder what they haven't showcased totems. So I thought there's like in the interview with Jonathan's and Try, right? I thought there's gonna be like a GGG showcase videos of the builds. I wonder what happened with that.
I'm pleased to report
Bro, this
that
is insane
Wolf
damage.
form has a pretty fresh
You can actually kill him. You can actually kill this boss before he do
take
anything.
in this regard.
He's gonna be frozen for the 2nd time. Bro, no one would think Wolf is weak, right?
When he finally summoned the will to...
This is actually crazy. This is damage. This is big damage. Because I did play Demon Form, Bone Storm before, so I know what's like big damage. But basically, it's almost on par with that, and I don't know if he's like already level his skills or not, but yeah.
bring up his health bar.
Looks pretty good.
Only to get frozen and then killed.
Double freeze on
Aw.
campaign boss, yeah, like that's
So as we head into
crazy.
the Titan Valley, you get to...
So apparently, like the more freeze from thunderstorms, or maybe the wet debuff, like make the DR go faster or something. That's crazy. I mean, the berry might do the same thing, but it's way cooler on Wolf because you also freeze the boss.
See some of the now core Abyss mechanic is having a presence in the campaign. And I did actually get quite a few crafting items from Abyss during Acts 2 and 3, which does surprise me because Val Temple is giving out a ton of crafting power, and it feels like we didn't really even lose Abyss in this regard. I expected that Abyss would just be like non-existent till Endgame, but it's there and you actually get to use it. I used it
Bro, everything is frozen, and then he's just claw this guy to death.
a few times. I was maybe getting a bit overconfident at this point because I suffered a
Bro,
classic
it's crazy.
for me
It's so
giant skelly squish death. I swear it's
Look
like
at that.
one of my
Like,
most common
bro,
deaths in
Wolf
PoE2
is
is just getting these
insane.
guys
Like,
falling
okay,
on me.
maybe we can talk about like Oracle Ascendancies later. But
The Titan Grotto boss points out a minor
alright, see this boss. Alright, this boss is usually a problem.
nuisance in freeze builds
Usually.
like this.
Okay, but
Some
okay, that's
larger bosses in PoE2 have
this
a
is
mechanic
good
where they cannot be
damage, by the way.
frozen or
This is
like
good damage.
stopped
This boss is a
during
huge problem.
certain attack sequences or time frames.
And you can
That can mean that
freeze.
you
Okay, so this
basically
boss is,
don't
like,
get to
immune
freeze them if you're
freeze in,
killing
like,
them fast
certain
enough, which is
mechanics.
kind of a bummer. I get that there's a few reasons to have a mechanic like this, but I think that maybe you could use some fine tuning, or maybe
it's
like
gonna
a
suck
change
for him
like
'cause he
allowing
can't
the
freeze
freeze to
during the,
function,
actions.
but the enemy's still able to move while frozen if they're like a giant Titan enemy like this. They just
Okay,
get
so
slowed.
after that,
I think
you
designs
can
like
be
that are great
frozen.
because then you don't get locked out of your actual build's mechanics. You can still have your like on freeze mechanic of like firing icicles at the boss. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
not
I
like the
agree.
fight
They should fix that. That would be huge quality of life for Wolf.
was difficult or anything. It's just kind of like a bummer that
That's-
he spends
guys, like-
you know a full minute on 99% freeze.
You have been dropping all the puns. Too much freeze go up that early. It's insane. It's insane. Okay, it's
I ended up
insane.
getting
Look at that. I'm playing Wolf. There's no way I'm playing Bear.
I ended up getting another Val Temple in the latter half of Act 2 with more room upgrading and plenty of crafting benches to sock latter half
Wait,
of
what did
Act
he
2
get?
with more room upgrading and
No flat damage. You want flat damage on here.
plenty of crafting benches to socket quality and add mods to my gear.
Yeah, that nose
And this
has been,
nicely
big
combines
issues.
with the Abyss crafts that I had access to now as well to round out some key gear pieces, you know, upgrading a chest or fixing up a weapon, for example. I actually managed to get the
You just
next
see flat
Spirit
damage,
Gem
like
tier here.
basically. For attack build, all you want is like flat damage. I mean, I'm playing softcore anyway, right? So don't care if I die. I want to kill enemy faster.
Yeah, and I was
What about the
definitely
keystone
tempted
that
to
we
take her
can use
advice,
scepters
but
with talisman?
I wanted to check out some of the new stuff.
Yeah, definitely gonna
There's two
try
new
that.
options here. So Wolfpack, it does exactly what you think. It summons
There's
a Wolfpack.
Shrine Scepters.
Apparently,
late
you can
game,
also
or
get a
that
crazy
give,
number of wolves with this
extra
plus
added
pounce at
cold
endgame.
damage.
I want to say like specific
And also to your
numbers.
minions, or like
The
maybe
devs
it
said to
works
me, 'cause
on
I
your
can't really
wolf
remember what the actual
companions,
number
minions.
was, but it was higher than I expected based on the numbers that you see here, which I think like I can have 4 and 5 right now, so 9. But I guess
So
if
I'm
you
definitely
think
taking
you
that
can have
keystones. I
9
think
now,
it's minus
and then assume what you can
50%
have
spirits,
by
right? But
endgame,
it's not bad.
well, yeah, you can maybe get the idea.
You can one portal
Anyway,
map,
I
yeah,
don't
but
know
that's
the
like way
potential of
endgame,
the
right?
minion
But
druid
we're
side
just
of
talking
things.
campaign.
They're trying to
here.
put every single build in druid, so I'm sure some of them will
Wonder if
probably
you can
not be
change
fully
the
well
range
rounded,
of
but
Luna
I don't
swords
know,
from
maybe there's some
passive
wolfpack potential
if you
there.
have plus melee
Anyway,
attack
I opted
skills,
for the
sure.
other choice, the defensive
If
spirit
you have
skill
like
bark
plus
skin.
melee, like plus
This grants
range,
you a
right?
flat
Like plus...
armor bonus for a duration based on damage taken on hit to your
Wait, what?
armor. For the other choice, well rounded, but I don't know, maybe there's some wolfpack. I'm sure
When hits by an enemy, gain armors equal to 32% of ES lose or loss. Wait, that's pretty good. Wait, but it's for hit.
some of them will probably not
Yeah,
be
that's not
fully
bad,
well
right?
rounded, but I don't know, maybe there's some wolfpack potential there. Anyway, I'll
Is it a flat?
We'll
Wait, it's
probab-
not flat, right? Oh, it just gain equal to 30. Oh, so it's flat. That might actually be good on Wolf.
probably not be fully well rounded, but I don't know, maybe there's some wolfpack potential there. Anyway, I opted for the other choice, the defensive spirit skill bark skin. This grants you a flat armor bonus for a duration based on damage taken on hit to your energy shield. With good energy shield recovery and armor plus duration scaling, for example, I think you can probably stack some pretty substantial armor from this. I'm actually kind of shocked that it doesn't have like a hard limit. I'm used to skills like this having or needing hard limits because inevitably some player gets infinite armor from it or something. But I guess in this case, since it's duration based and it requires enemy hits, like I don't think you could self-hit yourself.
Wait, does it require? It requires enemies hits, right?
There.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
I was
for
thinking
the
self-hit.
hard limit, for example, I think to your based on damage taken on hit to your energy armor bonus, a choice the defensive spirit skill bark skin. This grants you a flat armor bonus choice, well-rounded, but
So taking damage from enemies, okay.
I don't know, maybe there's some more
So you
pack
can't
potential
really
there.
abuse that.
Anyway,
I mean,
for
unless
the
you
other
can,
choice,
right,
the
with some
defensive
sort of
spirit skill
weird
bark skin.
specters and
This grants you a flat
minions.
armor bonus for a duration based on damage taken on hit to your enemy. A sharp player gets infinite armor from it or something. But I guess in this case, since it's duration based and it requires
boss is also
enemy
immune to
hits, like
freeze.
I don't think you could self-hit
way.
yourself with this or anything. It's probably that makes it a bit more reasonable. Anyway, I really like
So
this
this
skill.
is like he's immune to freeze, right? So he's just doing like 3 wolf and then he's just doing auto attack and
It's actually that
does
makes it a bit
really
more
good
reasonable.
damage.
Anyway, I really like this skill.
Look at
It's
that.
actually kind of messed around with a little
Like,
bit for building my
you don't need
character.
to
When I
freeze
was
a
just in the
boss.
campaign, I didn't really need it. I took the Zealot's Oath keystone to convert life regeneration to energy shield regen when my life was full, and that keeps it present in combat much better than recharge.
He's taking this early game.
And that enables Barkskin to do a whole lot more, I think. It's not really like a flashy skill, but I don't know, I really like this one. It seems fun to build around hybrid life ES, regen, and stacking defensive buffs that like spike the more dangery, and I like that style of mechanic.
PoE
It's
builder
neat.
is starting on
And
specters.
with Druid having like a
probably
lot
with
of
the
access
skills.
to
Is that the
elemental damage taken to armor,
that
I
the
can
Russian
anticipate,
streamer?
you know, this having a bit more of an impact as well. Anyway, alongside Cross Slash, Ferocious Roar, and Spell Totem are the other level 7 gems. Spell Totem lets you link a spell to be
I'll play
recast by the
wolf
totem,
minions. That's
but in
like
PoE 2 it costs 3
build I can
charges.
get behind.
That sounds
I'm not
kind of
playing
annoying,
specters or
but
minions.
at least for bear form it's super easy to have 3 endurance charges passively and
He just
quickly
like
even by
destroying
just
things with
spending rage.
entangle and
So it's probably pretty
thunderstorms.
easy to use it there for some like
Like,
decent
doesn't even
utility
use
spell
wolf form.
options. But it's not something I've really given any thought at this
This
point.
tree is also
It seems
pretty
supplemental,
unoptimized. Yeah, I
for sure.
think so too.
Ferocious Roar looks pretty good. It's a bear form Warcry
I think it's
skill that
insane. Okay, so this is the same tier as Cross Slash, which you get at level 22. So I'm assuming he's like
lets you gain
level
more
20,
rage and break some
what,
armor in its
26,
default
28.
form.
So
But the
almost
real
a
use case is
Act 2
probably that
boss.
you
I
can
want
link
to see
normal
that
human
fight.
Warcries.
Because Act 2 boss also give a lot of issues for other player. So I want to do so many newbies now. I quit my job.
Like Infernal Cry into it to trigger
Just
those
pull in
instead.
sick, dude.
That lets you use
I
Infernal
mean,
Cry
the
in
game
bear
released
form,
on
whereas
weekend
otherwise
as
you'd
well,
swap
so
to
you
human
can pull
form
in
to do
sick
it.
on Monday or
And that
Tuesday,
will,
you know. Have like 5
pair
days.
nicely with the Fire Fisher Volcano playstyle. For whatever reason,
Wait, he's not showing phase 1.
I pair nicely with the Fire Fisher Volcano
And he's not doing
playstyles.
wolf, okay.
For whatever reason,
Wait, this Act 2 boss also weak to cold damage? You know, we're cooking.
I can't really recall. I didn't end up getting a chance to test
Okay, he's
either
doing
of
wolf.
these. Probably because they need like other skills to make much use of them.
Freeze?
Or I forgot one of those.
Blah.
Anyway, end of Act 2 is often a huge difficulty spike for many builds. And weirdly, I was getting
It
a
is,
little bit
yeah.
under-leveled through Act 2 and 3.
Wait, so he's under level on this fight.
And
So I'm assuming, right? Because, okay, so the level that you want to attempt this fight is at least 28. Or maybe even 31, right? If you get like the next skill level, but yeah, I mean 28.
also feeling like the cost of my erratic gem cutting choices as I try to test
Yeah, he's also under level on
anything and
gems.
everything. So, despite that, I managed
yeah, this
pretty fine
boss
with the
is, like,
sustain spells helping in
pretty
those
hard.
sketchier choke points, and freeze taking care of everything else.
Yeah, just freeze and claw. But that's not a lot of damage.
And then with Shaman
Damage
Ra himself,
falling
I was
off, but
actually
then this
pretty
boss
dang
is just
impressed.
hard.
I managed 3 freezes in second form, and while my damage had fallen off a bit at this point,
3
it was
freeze.
pretty damn smooth fight. He didn't give me much grief.
It's pretty smooth. You still have all his potion up. So it's pretty smooth. But this is not a lot of damage, but also at the same time this boss is like way tankier than a lot of the enemies we fought before.
Heading into Act 3, I spent a bit more time on Wolf form. I can't help myself. It's so much fun. It's fast to run through zones.
Bro, he's having fun on Wolf
First, though,
form.
something pretty unexpected awaited me on the Vile Sacrifice altar.
And then his rotation is not optimized as well, because you're supposed to do cross slash, right? To pull in all the ice fragments. Okay, so this boss is not weak to cold damage, it's weak to fire and lightning. You see the Wolf MTX for beating Count Yo? No, I haven't. Wolf MTX. That's interesting.
What the heck, GGG? That's pretty cheeky, putting another death monkey in this act just here randomly.
Wait, we're getting
Anyway,
a
it's time for
second
that build
monkey?
change up. Apologies in advance, but I do not get time to return to bear form. But you know it's good,
Okay,
right?
no
I think
bear
you've seen
form.
enough to say that. I do have something else
Okay,
for
I
you,
do think
though.
bear form is insane.
The moment that some of you have been desperately
But I prioritize fun over insane.
waiting for. It's officially time to water my plants. Now we're Path of Exile.
No, he's doing the
Gem level 9 gives
water the plant build.
Thrashing Vine.
Wait,
Now we're
is that a skill Oi Barrage? Wait, what? That's kind of funny. Shift into a wyvern. Okay, and spit out oil. What?
Path of Exiling.
And this is Thrashing Vines. So we get nothing at level 31. And these vines don't really combo with wolf form. Okay, so our 31 is kind of weak. And this, wait, did they undercook this? They need to like give us something. So we don't get anything. I don't even think we get anything at this level as well. Because Lunar Blessing is 52. Yeah, so we don't get anything for like the whole Act 3 and 4. So, you know, it might be strong early and it fall off.
Gem level 9 gives Thrashing Vines. It's a plant spell that summons large vines that slap the ground and enemies too. With that, plus Entangle and the Thunderstorm spell, we have everything we need to water our plants. The accelerated growth support seems pretty key here. That's a good one to... The accelerated...
Wait, this is not accelerated. Wait, this is additional Fisher.
Growth support seems pretty key here. That's a good one to incorporate into this. It lets you trigger exploding flowers whenever you overgrow your plants.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's so good.
It might be funny. Wait, is that funny?
So
That's pretty funny.
Plant spell here has a mechanic
That's a good
where
interaction.
it will overgrow in some way if watered by thunderstorm.
So wait, what I'm worried about is that GG, obviously they cook, right? But because they have so many new things that they cook, they're gonna like undercook the end game, for example, of the wolf, right? But we can only hope.
Storms. I can't get over how silly your plant druid is. Anyway, for Entangle, it makes the fishes last longer. And for Thrashing Vines, it makes them 50% larger and do 50% more damage. So really chunky for that. But Entangle...
Wait, 50% more damage? That's a lot of more damage.
Is not really doing much. Just making them last longer is not really a big deal by itself. It's not something you would do if you weren't just kind of doing it for other reasons anyway. But that accelerated growth gem adds explosions. So that makes it absolutely worth it. I'm pretty sure you can also do the same thing on Briar Patch too. Adds explosions. So that makes it absolutely worth it. I'm pretty sure you can also do the same thing on Briar Patch too, though I'm not sure
that's
I
pretty good
ended up
damage.
testing that. So yeah, I see some accelerated growth on Briar Patch.
This is a pretty cool
and
skills
on
and setup.
Entangle,
That's
and
kind of
then
nice.
you're scaling up the Thrashing Vines in other ways, most likely. So this is a duration sustained damage spellcast.
Physical damage. So physical spell based caster, right, for plant.
Style, and there's plenty of nodes
skill effects, durations, and fizz. Okay, that's good for plants, right?
For that in the Druid's area, including an actual plant cluster that has a chance for plants to overgrow immediately, even without Thunderstorm raining on them. So that, with the support from earlier, means you get some exploding flowers when that happens too, so that's a nice little boost. It's mostly physical
cool.
damage here with the plants.
Maybe it's our
so you could likely
plan?
walk in the later tornado spell that's physical as well.
I don't think Wolf is bad,
and maybe you can
guys,
even
like,
go
trust.
poison. I know there's plenty of gems pitched in
Like
that direction
Oracle might be
because
bad,
of the existence
but
of like the
Wolf's
other
not
plant
gonna
stuff
be
on the
bad.
other side of the tree. I have to mention my
We'll
favorite
take a look
upgrade
at the
that I
Ascendancy
messed
soon,
around
okay, so
with,
wait, after
and that
this,
was putting
we'll
Pin
go
on
take a look
Entangle.
at the Ascendancies.
I'm in love with Pin after playing a tactician. Pin's amazing. And Entangle did an excellent job of rapidly building up Pin too. And I do think Pin or some sort of slow scaling seems like a very good idea here, as you really want to cause enemies to, just get bogged down and stacked up in your 4 overlapped entangles and 2 giant vine slapped fields with briar patches and double storms on top. That's where all the fun's happening. You want all the mobs.
Yeah, this is so cool, right? We don't have like a skill like this in PoE 1.
Being in there, so pitting them in place is really nice.
When hit PvP.
But you can totally add main and do like slow
this
effectiveness
build's
scaling
like
as well.
gonna cook in PvP.
I've done that sort of stuff on grenades before. It's really nice.
Anything that CC
now you may
is
be
good
thinking,
in PvP.
looking at
Wait,
the
but
footage
Wolf
here,
might
that
be good
DPS
for
looks a bit
PvP too,
meh,
because
and
it's
you'd be
frozen.
right. But in Rainy Druid's defense,
Have find it, poison
I was
plant?
still using my level 2 fire damage stuff at this
I mean,
point,
maybe,
so
right?
I just kind of
for
forgot
poison
about it all
build,
this
you
time.
wanna
So I was
have
focused on
good
the other
hits.
shape-shifting stuff.
Like
Classic
next build, you can do small hits,
spellcaster
but
builds
yeah,
using
bleed
Act 1
and
weapons
poison,
into
you kind of
Endgame,
want
right?
to have big hits.
But bear with me though, as I do get myself a physical spell staff kind of soon. It takes me a little while, but I get it eventually. In the meantime, I do grab Oil Barrage for the Wyvern, which exposes and slows enemies just like Oil Grenade. But we'll come back to this skill a bit later, as it's got a pretty fun empowered inversion that I test later on.
Stomping Bear looks great. Yeah, it looks great. I think
So my
bears are
lower
gonna be really
DPS from
strong.
gear and underleveled gems and missing passives and all that caused me to have a bit of mana issues with this playstyle here. That's not untypical for things like this, and it was made much worse by my questionable choice to use overabundance on everything, doubling the cast that I needed to do on lacking DPS. I'm happy to say that this was a problem that solved itself after I got a couple of upgrades, since it was mostly just the fact that I was missing a lot of damage ultimately.
No mana!
Despite my waning DPS at this point, Zakotal went pretty smoothly, and this playstyle is just pretty comfy overall. Sustained AoE spell styles often are. It's interesting how different it is from the other playstyles I'd messed with on the Druid though, like, it's such a varied class.
I'm not ready yet! Have a vow, don't give anything for free, do they?
So I finally managed to get myself that proper staff, getting a Fizz Spell Gems 1 with some nice Fizz Spell damage too. And I didn't do the math on my crafting choice, so I don't want to hear about it. Don't worry about it. Either way, this thing made a huge difference from my old piece of garbage that I had like 50% fire damage or something on it. And I got it just in time to go through the often aggravating Trial of Chaos, and I'm super happy with how smoothly it went. Slows, pins, range, sustained spell damage, it all worked really nicely for most of the encounters here, and at this point with the upgrade, the damage was enough to move through, even through the escort quests pretty comfortably. I actually had one of the comfiest Nightmare Bird kills too. This thing is an absolute menace.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
often.
Wolf
I was
looks so
really
fun.
happy I didn't have to rerun it, just because it went
Tank Plan looks pretty
perfectly
fun
first
too.
time. Circle around, dump everything on the giant boss. Perfect.
The whole idea of shift shifting and hybrid caster is pretty fun. I think the combo for Wolf is a bit underwhelming because it's just more freeze. The Bear can actually do some pretty insane stuff if it's like with the slams and then volcano.
Do not get so conceited.
Yeah, we like how
So this let me unlock the Bringer of
so
the
he has
Apocalypse
full
node,
Wolf right
which
now. Okay, so he has Apocalypse now.
I test a little bit later on, as I was still testing the Planty Druid on my new stuff. I just got the staff, let me have a chance with it, eh? I'm still under-leveled
I
and
mean,
missing
damage is
passives,
pretty
and
good.
this cheeky lady here likes to roll out of my AoEs, so that
I hate
took a
this
little while,
boss.
but
I think if I'm playing
overall,
Wolf, I'm
like,
gonna die
once
to
I
this
got it
boss
online,
like
the
3 or 4
plant
times.
druid, the water my plants druid felt
Boss is
very
pretty annoying for
comfortable
melee.
and very fun. Enjoy watering your plants at launch, garden druids.
That's pretty good damage, right? Consider like he's not focusing on like I guess he's not focusing on spell at this point.
So next up, I wanted to mess around a bit more with Wyvern and also test Apocalypse, the uber skill from the Shaman. We'll get to Apocalypse in a moment. First, I wanted to return to the Oil Barrage skill. What's normally a utility skill here becomes a pretty hilarious lightning single target barrage when empowered with a power charge. So it spends a power charge if you have one to make the barrage much longer with a bunch of added lightning damage. And if you have 3 charges, you can just like hold the button down for one long mega barrage. With Devour, you can very easily, you know, generate 3 power charges. So I was actually able to use this and the melee lightning form a bit more comfortably here. Indeed, like the combination now of having Devour, Wing Blast, and Oil Barrage made Wyvern feel a bit more well-rounded, but is still definitely the more complicated one to play here. That lightning barrage is just absolutely hilarious. I will not be surprised if we see some sort of like boss barrage deletion endgame build here. I don't know if you can really call it a one-shot when it's a barrage like that, but you know. I expect to see something disgusting with this. That's if, you know, people figure out some easy way to
I don't know
get
if
those
it's just
first
me,
power
but
charges at
Wyvern,
least.
I mean, it's hella cool, right? But it's not a dragon. Wait, so when does he get the fire breath thing? Is that like a level 52 skills? Yeah, it does look kind of clunky. This is why I like the wolf. It's so snappy. Look at that. He's playing rolling Mappa. I mean, that's
So I didn't
pretty
get a chance to
decent
barrage
damage.
a boss.
This boss is actually not
Consistently
that
died before I
tanky.
could stun them, so, well, good problem to have, I guess. I was surprised just that I was doing okay damage just off the back of, like, basic
It's
kind
actually
of
pretty
Wyvern gameplay
like pretty
here, not
good
really doing
damage.
anything
Like,
fancy.
you're just doing rolling Mappa. So it bounce twice, right? And hits twice. I mean that's not bad, right? So I feel like they also, I mean they just added a bunch of damage to these Druid form.
And finally, let's take a look at Apocalypse now.
Like Apocalypse.
I didn't
so it's an
really
attack
have
AoE
any supports
trigger.
for this skill, so this is just pure vanilla Apocalypse. But it's pretty strong
So
right
no
away,
support
and it seems
skills.
usable pretty often too. Apocalypse is a glory skill, with the glory for this being gained by hitting enemies with elemental
Yeah, the
damage.
rolling
So
map
obviously
of
just doing that constantly, especially like the
flashback.
sustained spells, just constantly ticking that up at max rate. So it's easy enough with the added random elemental damage on the node that you get
Dracarys.
before it as well, so it's going to happen regardless of your build.
Wait, that did no damage. Okay, I mean that's kind of damage.
Begone, foul creature!
Using the skill causes a long duration where you passively rain down meteors, hailstorms, and lightning crashes randomly around you. It's duration based as well, so, you know, there's
Wait,
room to
it's
make
also hailstorm.
hailstorms and lightning using the skill.
Wait. Oh, this one. Wait, I thought it's just fire. Well, it's actually 3 elements, so you can run Trinity with it. Cause it's an attack, right? Yo, it might actually be really strong. Problem you have with Wyvern is attack is so unimaginative and basically reworks of existing skill. I mean, at least they like reskin it and it's in a different class, right?
Begone, foul creature!
Using the skill causes
How
a
many
long
people
duration
think
where you
will
passively
name
rain
the
down
characters
meteors,
from Game of
hailstorms,
Thrones?
and lightning crashes randomly around you.
Hopefully
It's
plenty.
duration based as well, so, you know, there's room to make it last longer too if you want. What can I say? Skills like this are really fun.
Okay, what is this?
I
What is this
expected to
damage?
struggle
Is it
a
good?
lot on the Viper boss. She's tiny, she's dangerous, she moves
Wait,
around
but it's
a lot.
auto-targeting though.
Doing this
is
on
it
live
like,
and I was
is
like
it always hit?
groaning,
Oh, it's
walking up
not.
to
Okay,
it.
so
But
you do miss.
it was okay. Apocalypse
Hey,
and some
that's
range
really
spam
good
from Wyvern
damage.
form handled it fairly well.
Well,
even if it
it's not
wasn't super
really
quickly,
good, right?
it
But
went
I don't know how
okay.
much he invested.
I'm coping.
It's not like any of these boss giving him a problem. She is a problem.
So I had a brief moment to play
Okay, tornado.
with
Len seems to think that the meteor bear is big meteor auto targets. Yeah, it's like an auto bomber skill, right?
So
Right, tornadoes. Actually, I was quite interested in this spell because I used to play Tornado of Elemental Turbulence in PoE 1. I kind of like tornadoes. It's only one tornado though. Tornado's a fifth spell, so it's like similar to PoE 1 as well. And spell damage applied to debuff damage over time, right? Yeah, it's really cool. It was like later in the league. I mean, I could try to play a tornado build. I think it's gonna be pretty good in the tempo as well, cause this one should travel and like bounce off wall.
I had a brief moment to play with Tornado, a physical duration spell I mentioned earlier. It can suck up elemental ground to empower itself. The only problem is that it's surprisingly hard to do that on the Druid's basic skill set, at least. So there's the oil barrage.
Okay, hear me out. If it suck up like elemental ground, wait, I need to read the descriptions. So this one overlaps elemental ground surface, absorb the surface debuff, applying it to the enemies inside the tornadoes and causing tornadoes to deal extra damage. It doesn't say. Wait, it does. Okay, so so it does flat damage per second for each absorb elemental damage type. Okay. Okay, so never mind. It's just like for each of the elemental ground, it absorb. It's gonna do extra flat. Okay,
A brief
I mean
moment
that's
to
not too
play with
crazy.
Tornado, a physical
what's up,
duration
Gallop?
spell I mentioned earlier.
Wait, are you
it can
Garrulus?
suck up elemental ground to empower
What's up?
itself. The only problem is that it's surprisingly hard to do that on the Druid's basic skill set, at least. So there's the oil barrage.
Are you ready
is
for
the only
the
way that I really know
wolf
of by
pack?
default, and you can ignite that, but it's a little difficult to do, and it leaves oil ground if it's the non-empowered version. So if you have a power charge and you try to put oil ground down, it will it will just use the lightning version instead. So that's kind of funny. So I am sure that there's like some easy
Yeah, the
spells
tornado
you can
also gets
pinch
stuck.
from the elemental tree, or like support gem
Bro,
combos or
that's
something to generate
that's gonna suck in the
ground
temple,
to
right?
empower the tornado. And in the end,
It's gonna get
it's a
stuck.
fizz spell that you can couple in with the plant Rainy Druids. You know, tornadoes are something you can add into your storms, I suppose, for a bit of extra sustained area damage there. And you can also work it into your elemental builds with that ground empowerment.
Wait, didn't Jonathan
Another
say in the
sustain spell
trailer
you can
there's
throw
like
down before
a
shapeshifting
skill
too.
support gems
Got
or
a lot of
something
them
that
at
make
this
the
point.
tornado kind of track enemies? Didn't he say that, right? They also kind of showcase
Sadly,
that.
that is all I managed to do in my brief
Okay,
visit
that's
to the Grinding Gear
everything.
Games studio
Okay,
this
I mean
time.
that's fine.
Probably for the best though, as I do need to rest
He
and look
did
after my family.
showcase Act 2
Thanks for
boss.
all the
I
well
kind of want to
wishes
see
as
the
well.
Act 3 damage as
I
well.
was really stoked
but I
to
guess
see
you
how
didn't get
much
to the
you'll
boss.
enjoyed part 1, and hopefully you enjoyed part 2 as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you on stream
Similar
at launch, and maybe for
idea.
some Druid and Vile Temple guides on YouTube and Maxroll too
I am
afterwards.
excited for
Definitely looking
Wolf
forward to playing the
after
Druid
seeing this
myself in a
video.
much less rushed fashion
It looks
this
really
time.
good.
Just can't decide whether I want to focus on
So,
Bear Slams
yeah.
or Ice Wolf, because both are just so tempting. I do think Bear is like the a little bit easier and more well-rounded choice, but Wolf is just so fast and fun.
Alright, so yep, that was the video.
Hey guys, Paltron here, and
Thanks
today I got
Diggity
my
for
League Start
posting it
plans
out.
for
So Paltron put out a videos on he's starting Druid, right? But he's doing Bear, so I kind of want to see what
Hey guys, Paltron here,
he's
and
cooking.
today I talk about my League Start plans for patch 0.4. Yesterday, ZiggyD put out a video showcasing both Bear and Wolf, and I gotta say, I really like what I'm seeing, and consider myself baited. And a lot of people were saying, well, maybe those numbers
You might be done,
that
but
we saw in the video and
do you
the
have
damage
to
that
go
we saw in the
Druid to
video is
play
not
Wolf
gonna be
Bear?
there
No,
anymore,
no,
and
no,
obviously it's only
that's
Act
not how
1.
it works. You
But
can
for
just
me,
use
it
Talisman
just
and
looked
transform
like the
any
package
class
was well
or
thought out,
Ascendancies.
and everything kind of went into each other smoothly, which is usually what I'm looking for. A fun playstyle. And I did quite a
Wait, what's Bahata Vengeance? What's that? Wait, what? Oh, the gems. So the supportives? support gems? It's not. Oh, it's a lineage support gems. No, it's not. Wait, what?
A bit of thinking about the archetype in general and also rage related stuff on the Druid, which I'm going to be going for. All of that in this video. So I'll explain my thought process.
Okay, so
First, we
he
gotta lay out
watched
what
his videos and then he's like locking bear.
the goal for Bear is. Make walking
That's a new
calamity
lineage
and ramp.
gems. What? Can you see it from here? Oh, this one. When you freeze the targets with support for each one rage you have and allies in your presence, so I think wolf and companions, right? So it's shown in Ziggy's videos, it's companion, so it should count as ally. 1% damage is cool. You and allies, right? So it's for wolf bill. For each one rage. So like how many raids can you actually have? Like 30? They have a total of 30, so that's like 30% damage as core damage for 30 seconds. It's pretty good. It's not like crazy broken, right? It's pretty good. Unless you can have like better way to scale. I mean, it could be good, right? If you can have like, I don't know, like 20 wolf. And then you go for 30 rage. And then your wolf gonna kill the enemies. To replace ice bites. Ice bites just give you like 25%, or was it like 20% on freezing and enemies? You get more from talisman. No rage. Next rage is 67. Okay, that's a lot of damage.
Page work. If you don't know what walking calamity is it is this firestorm
We're not gonna get lineage gems like when you get to map.
around you. He's gonna do it in a second again. But here is the gem. So while in bear form, you build glory by gaining rage while already at max rage. So you can see it on the right side again. It's this firestorm.
Okay, so
in
we
the
already
video-
know this.
And here comes the Ascendancy choice, which I personally will be
Okay, actually, you know what? Let me read the Ascendancy first, and then we can watch this video. Actually, I'm not. I don't
going
know.
for
I was gonna
Druid.
watch
And the
this
reason
because
is
I don't
Furious
plan to play
Wellspring.
Shamans.
Now, this effect looks a
Maybe he
little bit
can pitch
wacky,
it.
and it's one of those that I don't think you can really judge until you actually play with it. So first up, no inherent
True.
loss of rage. Regenerate 6% of your maximum rage per second, and then you can also scale that up with mana regen. However, all your skills do now cost 5 rage, and you also get +7 to maximum rage, which, if you don't know, rage is a more damage multiplier. You get 1% more damage per 1 rage. Now, you can also just hit enemies and get rage that way, so why wouldn't I just, for example, go Titan? Well, the reason is out of combat. So think about, for example, starting a boss fight, and you're already topped out. Not only that, but your glory for your walking calamity will already be full because it went over the it went on top of the rage, and then you get the glory after. So the reason
Wait, this is glory decay? I thought glory is also decay. This is Paltron videos. I'll link it in chat. Paltron videos. If you don't know Paltron, you need to subscribe to him. Paltron. He's the chef of PoE.
reason this is just quite cozy. Also, you're always topped out on rage. Think about
But there's a decay on glory, right? But yeah, there's no inherent loss of rage. But yet, I think glory is a bit sketchy.
spending rage all the time. The better recovery, the better. Because even if you're spending like 10, 15, 20 rage on some of the things we're going to be talking about in this video later, you still want to be topped out at all times. And with the regen, you should be snapping back to full quite a bit. Because at 60 maximum rage with a Berserk aura, which grants you up to 70% on a 2120, up to 70% increased rage effect, you will be getting 102% more damage. On top of that,
How's
we
the
can see
wolf
that
build
the
coming
bear
along?
could
Yeah, it's
generate
good.
endurance charges from spending rage. And
I have
guess
a
what
mobility
spends rage
written,
right
guys,
here?
as well,
Every
if you guys
single
wanna
thing
check it
you
out.
do. So this +5 cost rage to use will be completely invalidated by just 5 rage on melee hit, because all our hits are going to be melee.
It's not really updated right now because
that's pretty huge,
I'm
but
doing
this
but
also means
after,
that
like,
potentially
the
you're going to get more endurance charges than other people. Yes, you can also use rage forge 2.
It's already like quite good.
Could be an abuse case right here.
But
and you also get +7 to maximum rage. Now, do ignore this node completely.
+7
I don't think
to
we're going to do anything with it, but I guess it's there.
2 rage when you grant more spell damage. I mean, that could be useful.
For good measure.
Because Volcano is spell, right?
We get +4 to maximum rage, +4. So
yeah, tomorrow before release, I think I'll try to like be online at least 3 to 4 hours before. But I want to download the game first, because otherwise the stream is gonna lag, right? So after I finish like preload the game, I will go on stream. Yo, what's up, Rain? Do you still plan on going oracles? Yes, I'm planning to go oracles. Unless we discover that 3 hours before League launch, like once we have the data mines passive trees, that oracle is bad, right? Unplayable bad. Otherwise, I'm just, you know, gonna click oracles.
Total, that's also another +15, which is...
I don't think it's gonna happen, by the way, right? I don't think they're gonna make Oracle weak. It might be better end games, it might be weaker in the early games, but I don't think it's gonna be like a trash Ascendancies.
Is quite decent.
But I could be wrong, right? Because we don't know anything.
This also leaves me open for Wolf. While Bear does have a lot of inherent rage regen, Wolf does not really do that, and getting rage on hit from the tree is quite hard.
So we can have
there's
more
like 3
people
here,
playing Wolf,
and then
so we
there's
can
also
have
like 2,
co-ideas.
I think, somewhere in the middle. Yeah, right here. And the rest is kind of harsh to get. To be honest though, I think this is still going to be really good on something like a warrior. I just think there's going to be something broken here.
Is Jungron also playing on Mixed Start? Because I haven't seen Jungron stream at all.
Worse. Best case scenario, there's some absolutely broken stuff with this, with some of the uniques,
because usually on
or
Mixed
some of
Start,
the new
right?
supports that we
I
haven't
don't
seen yet,
stream,
or some of
so
the
I'm just like
skills
hanging
that
out
maybe
in
get changed.
stream.
It just seems
And then,
right for this also lends itself way more to
build,
stacking, because if you think about
like
only going off of rage on hit, if you have 5 rage on hit, if you want to go, let's say 80 max rage, right, whatever, there's going to be the patch, then you have to attack 16 times now. This is all percentage based, so the more rage you get, the more regen you get, so it's all in relation. The rest of the Druid tree is a big question mark, and that's where we talk about defense for a little bit. So first, adaption looks to be pretty promising.
I thought I'd
this
get rid
node,
of
regardless
the
of what adaption does, is just good. 15% fizz taken
what's up, Sigla? What's up?
over 3 different things is quite decent.
We don't hit
but then we have adaption charges, which give you less elemental damage taken. Now with the newly buffed Cloak of Flame, which can with a corruption go up to 61% of fizz taken as elemental,
the Oracle
this could be
Ascendancy tree?
completely
No.
busted.
Yes. Sorry, they did. Alright, it is here. I'm gonna take a look at that after this video.
Maybe throwing
we need to rewind a bit,
scenario, there's some absolutely broken stuff with this, with some of the uniques, or some of the new supports that we haven't seen yet, or some of the skills that maybe get changed. It just seems
I
do
agree.
This also lends itself way
really
more
good.
to stacking, because if you think about only going off of rage on hit, if you have 5 rage on hit, if you want to go, let's say 80 max rage, right, whatever, there's going to be the...
With 80 max rage, you can get to 80? It's kind of crazy.
Patch, then you have to attack 16 times now.
Oh, you said
this
filter.
is all percentage based,
can you just
so
type
the
the
more
command
rage
again?
you get, the more regen you get, so it's
if
all
you get blocked,
in relation. The rest of the Druid tree is a
it.
big question mark, and that's where we talk about defense for a little bit.
Oh,
so first, adaptation looks to be pretty promising. This node, regardless of what adaptation does, is just good. 15% fizz taken as. Over 3 different things is quite decent. But then we have adaptation charges, which give you less elemental damage.
Now we need to add an arms general, right? Okay, give me 1 sec. Turn on the background music here. 7 TV, right? Do we get arms general, and then there should be like a Falcon. Wait, there's like do we want the general Al Kaiser one or general one? Wait, general is the Al Kaiser one, okay. Guys, I got it. Pastor uploaded another video a few minutes ago. Holy. Okay, we're gonna watch that too then. Looking for bait build. Look no further. Play Oracle Druids. Unknown. Fully bait. It's like what happened in 0.2. We went in not knowing like whether or not the Amazon's gonna be good, right?
Taken. Now with the newly buffed Cloak of Flame, which can with a corruption go up to
Cloak of Flame.
61% of Fizz taken as elemental, this could be completely busted. Maybe throwing a little bit of extra armor in for good measure. Not really
This note is also really good, yeah, right? Because you can combo this with the charm, right? But then you need to give up the body armor slot, right? Because you need to. I think you need to have like the charm. You can activate charm with no charge, and then you use that brittle helmet. It's a lot of loops, but it works with this. Have you thought about Ritualist Werewolf as endgame build? Let me think. Does Ritualist give anything? I don't think like it give anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Ritualist. Like an extra ring slot, maybe. Doesn't give anything, pretty much.
sure. But yeah, this is a 4-pointer. First you take Reactive Growth, and then you take Avatar Evolution. And if any of these nodes are not good,
if you are
then we
playing
can
Ritualist
also
for endgame, purely attack though, I mean, you could go like Bowl or like Lightning Spear. It should be better.
go to the left side here, gain the benefits of additional bonded
Oracle looks stronger than Shamans? You're like the first one I heard saying that. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at that after
modifiers
this.
on runes and idols. Not really sure yet what that's gonna do in terms of what
Blood
kind of
Bowl
number it's
gives
gonna provide.
15%
And then you can also
damage,
get a little bit of
yeah,
extra
but I mean,
spirit.
Blood
There
Bowl
is
is,
also
like,
the small
not
node right
really
here,
a
which
skills,
could be
right?
not
It's-
just spell
it's more
related.
like for
Apocalypse is
AFK
probably
build.
just gonna be spell related. There is still a very, very small chance that we're gonna do something with Apocalypse. And if you don't know what
Oh, he's not planning to do Apocalypse. So Lens is doing Apocalypse, but Paltron's gonna do like Rage stackings.
Apocalypse is, it's basically this random effect.
It's so cool, right? It's 3 damage, but then if it's not like auto targetings, it's I don't know. Wait, so it's not that good for single targets. I was thinking like if it's auto aim for you, it's gonna be pretty good for single targets and it can stack up Trinity, but yeah, it's like random.
Effect here, so you can see it on the top. You press it once. He has 20-second duration. That is without skill effect duration. It also seems to be a glory skill, and you just have weird effects all over the place. We're probably not going to use it, but maybe there's some synergy there with Rage, because it's on the same Ascendancy. For defenses, though, don't forget that we are in the middle of Energy Shield and Armor nodes, so depending on what is going to happen to Energy Shield, we might be picking all of that up. Spiral into Darkness even has a little bit of movement speed. There is a new Energy Shield Armor node coming right here. You have Reinforced Barrier, and you also have Adamant Recovery and Ancient Aegis. There's a good chance that we'll just go for a really good Energy Shield Armor chest and just do that. Or the newly buffed Kotor of Crimson.
I think this is kind of bait. Might be good on any build that's maybe not, like I don't know. Is it bait? It's buff, right? But still bait. Overflow is only 150%.
Which now gives 15% increased maximum life instead of 25% reduced, and can give you up to 1.5 of the life that you used to have. This is a good time to tell you about how stem.
I don't think Pathfinder is like good for Wolf early on. I mean, if you wanna go Pathfinder, just play Poisons, and then you can pivot later in the endgame.
Rampage, the skill right here is actually fully
Oracle
physical,
Inevitable
so we'll be
Crits
able
looks
to
very
leech. Now
strong
then let me talk
for
about
cast
skill
on
effect
crit
duration
build.
and how
Okay,
much
that's
synergies it
interesting.
will
I'm
have
not
with
sure
this
if
build.
I'm
The
going
first obvious
full
one
cast
is
on
Walking
crits.
Calamity, which has a baseline of 10
Okay, Walking
seconds,
Calamity.
but can be increased from the passive tree. And we've already seen, I don't know if you can see it right here, this
Skill
node
effect
here, the
durations,
small
yeah.
nodes give 8% each, this one gives 16%. There's also
It's
a
crazy
lot
amount
more
of
on the
skill
passive
effect
tree though.
durations.
There's one in the warrior area, and then there's also one up top right here. In total, these will give you over 100%. The synergies don't just stop there though, because there's also this new buff right here. Basically, whenever you hit something, you get Fury, and then you can expend that Fury. For each that you expended, you get 1 second base duration, which should, for all intents and purposes, scale with percentage duration. And then you get this crazy buff right here. And once again, movement speed in this game you cannot ignore. So that's going to be a big deal.
Wait, that's actually really good. You get this at level 10? It's a persistent buff. 30 spirits. So the wolf form can actually use this. Do we want to use this? But we don't have a good way to wait, actually we do. We just use rage support gems. That's what I put in the written guy already. If we have rage from just like doing the shreds, right? This one also give you this one give you one
debuff right
let
here.
me
And
hear him
for all
say
each
again.
that you expect, basically 100%. The synergies don't just stop there though, because there's also this new buff right here. Basically, whenever you hit something, you get Fury, and then you can expend that Fury. For each that you expended, you get 1 second base duration, which should, for all intents and purposes, scale with percentage duration.
Okay, but this should work on the wolf too, right? We attack a lot. We attack fast as well. Yeah, we're getting Fury on attack hit. So the buff grants you... Wait, this one is lose life for a second. Okay, so the downside is you're losing life. So you constantly have to be life leech or maybe pressing your flask. I mean, it's not going to be a problem in the endgame. It's probably not as good in the campaign, but this is a legit skills in the endgame, I think.
And then you get this crazy buff right here. And once again, movement speed in this game you cannot ignore. So that's going to be a big deal. Just these two alone are already big deal. But then there could also be implications for Ancestral Warrior Totem. If you don't know, Ancestral Warrior Totem gets is less attack speed removed this patch. So it literally does the same damage as you, -1 support, because it's a meta support. And you can have up to 10 of them. So you tell me if that's possibly interesting. I think it definitely is. With quality, it has already 10-second duration. So you could possibly walk up to a boss and before it even spawns, already plop down, I don't know, like 5-6 totems with endurance charges.
The
and
links
because it has
to
so much duration, you can just
Ascendancy
preload
is on
the damage.
PoE 2
And yeah,
DB.
maybe Apocalypse. Most likely
Or
it's just a
Reddit.
spell
I mean,
meme, right?
Reddit should
We don't
take
know.
it from
But
PoE
it does
2
have
DB.
20-second duration,
PoE
so
2
if you get
DB
100,
is like
I mean,
always
it's
up
gonna
to date,
last like
right?
half your map. Now let's talk about some rage synergies though, because one of the reasons I want to be Druid is because it lends itself really well to stacking maximum rage and maybe do some outrageous things with it. And while we haven't seen a lot of the uniques and new stuff, we can already glean at what's there. Starting off with the most obvious one, Rage Forged to support. It consumes 10 rage to deal 35% more damage. That is an outrageously good support gem. And if you want to go for it, you can also have the 30% chance to not remove rage, but you still benefit as though they had, so it's only upside. Ridiculous support that we're going to be able to put on every single skill that we want. There's also Enraged Warcry, which honestly, this might mean that we don't even need the Shaman node eventually. However, I still like the idea of being able to start a fight already at full capacity, already with double damage and not having to work your way up. There is a new meta support gem for Bear right here with Ferocious Roar. And then we'll also have to see about this new support gem here, which almost seems too good to be true, Echoing Cry. Now, there's also a chance that Rage 3 actually works with the Druid. So the Druid makes it so every single thing that you have costs 5 Rage. If that happens before you attack, technically, you might be able to get the 15% more attack speed here, which that would be absolutely incredible because you also get the 5 rage, a melee hit to compensate that. We obviously have Berserk, which is our bread and butter and will give us an absurd amount of extra damage. Do note, however, that it also will degen us. So we'll have
it might make Druid. Okay, so it might make the bear feels good, right? Because you are also attacking fast with the other buff. Because the bear has like slow attack animations. I feel like this could be also pretty good on the wolf, but we don't really have good way to generate rage before, like besides support gems.
Look a little bit into region. We then have several idols, which after this patch you can only use once, but still, so on the helmet we can get +4 to maximum rage, which with this one right here, and then if we need it, probably not, but there's a board talisman for 1 rage on melee hit. Seems a little bit low, but it's there. Another possible spicy abuse case could be sudden infuriation, which has 4% chance. If you would gain rage, you instead gain up to your maximum rage. We don't really know how this is going to work in PoE 2, or if it works, if it's going to be hotfixed immediately, but I just wonder how often this region actually ticks, right? Because it doesn't just give you a certain amount per second, it does it with server ticks, right? So there is a possibility that this will literally just keep you filled over and over and over. Now, is it gonna work? Probably not, and it might get hotfixed next day if that works, but still interesting. In terms of rage stacking though, if you have +60 max rage or even higher, you're gonna get 1% armor each. That is quite impressive. And there is also a note down here that gives you a ton of stun threshold. And there's the obvious battle trance, which you probably want to anoint. There is another hidden one that could be really cool, which is Takati's Ire.
Yeah,
if you don't know, this support makes it so you
Druid
get
has
1%
node,
faster
yeah. Very
poisons
early
per
on
rage,
too.
and it just got buffed to 2%. So yeah, you could be getting up to, I don't know, 120, 150, we don't know yet. Faster poisons per rage, which is insane. They did also just buff Arakali's Lust. There is also Nagamahu's Chosen, which grants up to maximum rage on use. I don't know if this is going to be necessary, but used when you take fire damage from a hit with Scold's Bridle. This used to be abused in certain builds, but you can't really do that.
Fine.
It's probably not. At the end, though, I want to talk about
Okay,
Wolf, because speed
blend
in
Wolf.
PoE 2
Okay.
cannot really be ignored.
Let's hear it.
As cool as an auto bomber might be, if we can just pounce around and one-shot a pack with Herald of Ice and pounce and be extremely fast, then you better believe I'm going to try that out, and you better believe I will be building into that. So there is a realistic chance that I will be swapping to Wolf if that absolutely pops off. The main issue I have right now with Wolf,
and then we have Temporalis by day 2, and then
it seems like glorified auto attacking with Lunar Blessing buff,
keep pouncing,
and then also Arctic Howl buff. I hope I'm
yeah, we just go Lunar Blessing, right? Arctic Howl is not that good.
Wrong, and that's not what that is, and there's something else to it, and that's just what I see right now. Nobody's going to be pouncing and then cross-slashing, doing combo gameplay in Endgame.
You don't see it on the
happen.
PoE 2DB.
So if you actually want to clear a pack, you want to be able to pounce into a pack. Herald of Ice exploded, but pounce has a cooldown, so what else are you going to do? That's really my biggest question right here, but it is freeze. Freeze extremely strong,
insane,
and it has inherent movement speed while out of combat. And it also, by the way, lends itself way better to the Savage Fury buff. You'll probably have way more uptime of this, which means even more movement speed because you're attacking faster. So keep Wolf in the back of your mind as well. I will keep Apocalypse in the back of my mind. I'm going to stay really open right now. If we talk about Druid, Oracle, I'm not too excited about, simply because it seems like a lot of conditionals, a lot of weird things that maybe look good on paper, but are not going to play out well. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be streaming everything over on twitch.tv/Paltron, and I will be making daily updates, videos with everything I've learned.
Got a new video as well. So we are watching this after I rewatched this, so I want to watch this first. Okay, so this is the full. Wait, I'm showing you. Basically, you go on PoE DB, right, and then you go click on Druids, but it's in Druid Markdown. So they should mark down like everything. This is the new one, right? Wait, this is not the new one. Okay, so I need to go look at the one on Reddit. Okay, I think this should be the one. Alright, so yeah, I got the link. Yeah, I also have the Twitter as well. Wait, which one's the newest? I think they are the same thing, right? Alright, so harmony within. Wait, the link is a bit. It's a bit zoom in. That's okay. I mean, let me just share the link. Alright, so Outer Ring looks good. Okay, let's go. Okay, so lesser harm, crit chance. Okay, this one is like this one is kind of bad, right? Okay, inevitable critical hits which could potentially be crits, but do not roll crits. Will roll crits until they succeed. Hits have 30% less critical damage bonus for each time they roll. Wait, so they change it. It's not the same as the crits. Wait, it's not the same as the support gem. This is insane. So basically, you keep rolling until you crits, which you can abuse like pretty much any crits mechanic, right? So you lose 30% crit damage bonus on every roll. And if you have like 200%, right? Basically, you still do a bit more damage after you roll like 3 times. That's crazy. Wait, so that means you don't need to be at 100% crit chance, and you can kind of focus on something else as well. This is crazy. You can see higher resolutions. Yeah, but the screen is like kind of small. Okay, so this is as zoom in as I can. Okay, so yeah, anyway, inevitable crits. Yeah, I think this is insane actually. Okay, so is it like good early game? Can you just like focus on stacking a lot of crit damage? Okay, so we have Maliero as well. Wonder how's that gonna work? Cause this one, right? This one set your crit damage bonus at 250. Like think about like it. So this one is kind of like snapshot the damage. So I wonder if like how does this one interact with inevitable crits? Like because you lose 30%, right? But this one you always like when you crit, it's always 250. Like is this insane? This like does this one override this one or not? Because I know for a fact like this one actually like it fixes your critical damage bonus is always at 250. You can't scale more, you can't scale less. Oh, they changed this? Can't reroll crits? Wait, change where? Like this one is already outdated? Wasn't 200 wasn't 200%? Yeah, but I mean the point is like it's fixed. So it used to be like pretty I mean it's like a mid item, so it's good but it's kind of mid because it fixed your crit damage bonus because I mean some build can scale to like 4%. Patch notes, okay. Let me go look at the patch notes. Okay, where does it say it can't reroll anymore? Okay, so they say this in the interview? Wait, we don't have anything left to say. That patch on the glove? Your crit chance cannot be. No, they didn't fix it. This is the buff, right? Wait, your crit chance cannot be reroll. Oh, so it's so this is like a okay, so they add this line because they thought about the interaction. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, so I didn't like okay, so I didn't understand it before, but now it makes sense, okay. So this is specifically to counteract the reroll from the Ascendancies. Yeah, okay, so I was reading this before and I didn't think much about it. Okay, but now it makes sense. This is only for the interactions with the Oracle Ascendancies, by the way. I'll show you guys the link. I don't think like even with higher resolutions, I can't zoom in even like more. So we're just gonna have to like scuff it out a little bit. Okay, so what does Align Fate does? Okay, let me see here. Oh, is this the skill they show between the okay, so frequency spell with casting matching spell. Okay, so this one was spell build, so it's not really for us. Okay. Said power spell do 30% more damage. 30% more is crazy. This is kind of like nice, right? It's kind of cool, but I'm not sure if it's like nice, but yeah. Okay, what else? Okay, so this is the walk the path and not wait. So they moved this here. Oh, they moved this one from here to here. Okay, so we are getting a bunch of like passive points straight away from the first ascendancy points. Okay, so we just need to know if it's good or not. If it's good, we just click this. 100%. Because this node is useless. If you're going this, you have to commit to this, but then it's not a strong node early game for sure. And then this one is totems. Actually, you know what? It looks kind of mid for early game. So this thing has to be good. Okay, so this one, if it's not good, then I'm not sure if it's worth it. Okay, so this one is this one the same? Non-keystone passive skills in medium radius can be allocated without being connected to your tree. Okay, so it's the same thing. They just changed the name. Oh, you can't see the cursor. Okay, wait. Actually, I don't know how to add the cursor. Basically, okay, that's kind of okay. So how do I even fix this? There's like no there's no wait, how do I even show the cursor? 1 second. I had this thing to capture the cursors, but it didn't. Yeah, somehow it doesn't work. I'm reading the Unseen Path. So yeah, anyway, Unseen Path is the note down in the bottoms. Basically, it's the one that give you 150 new passive points. And then the next note is intertwine with entwin realities. The non-keystone passive skills in medium radius, basically from nothings, right? But except it's medium radius. So we already seen this, right? It's basically this one, but medium radius, so it's a bit like bigger. So like we have to bet on that. Wait, you guys see the cursor now, right? Okay, good. All right. Basically, if we are playing oracles, we can't click anything beside this one. Like, you have to go here, and you have to make sure that this one is good. If this one is bad, then it's kind of bricks, right? We have to go shamans. There's no other options, right? This one, actually, what is moments of vulnerability? Okay. So this one sent out a Nova to take advantage of enemies, which prime for stuns, electrocution, or freeze. Okay, so we can kind of use this. This one is a spell though, and it's a Nova spell. 10-second delay before enemies can be affected. Again, 90% of damage dealt to time riff of Visage is also dealt to original targets. Lasting and slowness, the original targets have been affected by the form of immobilizations. Okay, so if we freeze the enemies, it's gonna create a Visage, and then portion of damage dealt to the Visage also dealt to original. Okay, so basically this node, you no, I didn't watch the new PoE videos. I'll watch it after this because I want to give my thoughts on this. So this one basically is quite decent. I think it's good for AoE. It's good for single target damage. Maybe we can click this early on. Basically, you get enemies to a state where you can freeze them, and then you click the spell. And then the spell, wait, this one requires level 90s, never mind. So wait, is it actually? But yeah, you freeze enemies and it creates like a clone, and then you can AoE the clone and kind of cleave on top of that for like damage, basically. So it's like almost double your damage. Can you go cast on crit snap with Wolf and run a triple ailment setups? Wonder what happened if you try inevitable crits with resolute technique. I mean, you can't crits, right? So you can roll as many times as you can. You won't crits. I think it doesn't require level 20s. By the way, this one is because it's level 20 gen. Like I guess it's like capture from a level 20. You can go for like lower level. Basically at level 20, right? It's 98% damage dealt. So essentially, if you have skills that can cleave, it's double the damage. So for example, if you create the clone and then the clone and the boss is like on like kind of close, like in proximity of each other, and you can cleave both the clone and the boss, it's double damage. But then this one kind of say that you like it creates the visage of the targets to appear. But is it like appear on top or not? I'm not sure. Cause if it's on top, it's like was it if you play League of Legends, it's like it's like you always E skills. So you pull the clone. But then this one is it doesn't say it just says send out like a Nova skills on top of enemies. So what I'm thinking is that you cast this on top of enemies, and then it's gonna create a clone on top of the boss at the same time, right? So if the boss like during that moment, you can do double the amount of damage. Basically, this is kind of nuts. And it's not just for I guess for Wolf, right? This one for like anything that have like good spell that can cleave. Basically, you have skills that can cleave, you do double damage. And you have skill that can shotgun, you do like quadruple the damage. Which is kind of nuts. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty crazy. Okay, so this is a potential notes you can take. But then, okay, so, but then if we're playing Wolf, right? This one has to be good either way, right? Like the path not taken, right? These passive has to be good. And then, this one has to be good as well, basically. And we don't have the passive skill trees, because, I don't know, like, we get a bunch of stuff here, and then I think, I mean, I had that open last time, but yeah, anyway, we'll just, like, have a bunch of small note over here as well. So if, you know, if we're taking these notes, like, basically all the notables has to be really good, which I think it will be. We just kind of like path over here, and then I guess I want to also path over here as well to try Tribal Fury, because Strike, right, deals splash damage. We'll have to see how it works. But yeah, Banner Prey, this one is good. Otherwise, it's gonna be bait. But then, I mean, I guess if it's too bad and unplayable, because we're getting it like 3 hours before, right? So if it's unplayable, we just play Shamans. But I mean, what's the odd that it's like terribles? Because I think this is like super cool. But then if we're pathing here, I mean, we could path here and we don't have to take this if there's like no good options. And then we take 2 of these to get inevitable crits, because this note is actually quite nuts. Basically, you don't have you don't need like 100% crit chance, right? You can go for like, I don't know, like 50, and then you just roll. You know, you have like, it's like bifurcates but better. I mean, bifurcate rolls the crit damage though. But yeah, basically just roll into your crits. And then I guess this one for single target damage, kind of cool, I think, and fits really well. Like if we're playing Wolf, definitely we can do this. 20% crits. I'll do the math later, but yeah, but like there has to be like an optimal numbers for this. But I think we have strong notes, man. I think Oracle's gonna work, right? There's no way this one is like bad. I mean, this one's gonna work. So we click this. Okay, so for campaign, right? We can actually click this as well for boss. I mean, otherwise we click this and get a bunch of good notes, and then click this. And then for endgames, we can take this one first, and then respec, and then, well, not respec, but refund the points, and then take 2 of this for get crits. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, or like 1, 2, 3, and then refund, and then 3, 4. If we're playing oracles for Wolf, I think it's actually insane. Shaman is pretty strong for it. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, so, okay, we gotta look at Shamans now. I think they're done with this, right? I think this is strong. I have no doubt this is strong. This one is a spell, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, like, do any, Wait, this one also have a cooldown time of like 1 second, so essentially anytime that you freeze an enemies, you do double the damage. Okay, how broken is that? Anytime you freeze an enemies, you shoot this Nova and you create a Visage and you do double the damage. Yeah, what kind of other Ascendancy is that gonna give you this? It's like a massive cooldown, like it's a massive cooldown, but like it's just 1 second, and it, like, if you play Overwhelming Aura and then you just keep freezing enemies, and you just keep doing, like, I mean, doing double the damage, it's pretty good for oracles, right? I think this is legit, man. We could go like 1, 2, and then 3, 4. If this thing doesn't give you any, like, I don't know, interesting stuff to play with. Which I think it might, you know, depending, sorry, because from Ziggity's videos, I mean, there's only a few keystone you can use. Zealot Oath, right? I don't know if, I mean, I guess you can click Pain Attunement, but you can't make good use of it, so it's like a waste. And for any of the other notes, right, if you want to, like, go here, you have to use Timeless Shield, but then Timeless Shield also changes these notable as well, so it's no longer as good. And we don't want to click Resolute Technique. I mean, like, Timeless Shield is like, it's good, right? But we don't have the Timeless Shield calculator, so we don't know what notables we're gonna get, so it's like, I mean, it's really whatever. You are a little concerned with the Visage and the spawning range. Okay, so it's saying Nova, right? So it's like you send out a temporal Nova to take advantage of the enemy moment of, like, right? So you immobilize the enemies. you send this out and you create a Nova. I feel like it's gonna create it on top of the boss. It's on the opposite side. Is that like a different skill? No, because they were showcasing Aligned Fate, which is different. It's different. It's different, guys. Like Aligned Fate is where it was in the opposite, but then I know what you guys talking about. It's in the opposite of the air arena, but it's like when you cast a spell to do more damage. It's this one. It's not this one. The Nova radius is 4 meters. So 4 meters. Can we cleave 4 meters? I guess we just like try to scale AoE. But yeah, I think you guys are like right. Like I think Nova is 4 meters, so it's like spawn in like 4 meters, right? Okay, so 4 meters. I mean, it's not too bad. You can cleave. You can cleave 4 meters. If you're talking about like huge boss, right? For example, Act 3 boss, right? Act 3 boss, huge. 4 meters. He's basically 4 meters, so if you cast that when he freezes, it's double the damage. So yeah, it's not as good for like small targets, but for boss, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it show a copy of yourself casting the spell on the like the visage of the boss as well. So the copy of yourself and the boss. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I think there's potential, right? But then again, it's all depending on whether Unseen Path is good or not. But Inevitable Crits is gonna be quite decent, I think. What I'm not sure about is like I feel like this give you like option to scale into something a bit like because if you fully invest into crit, it's a bit hard, right? It's already like it's pretty hard to invest into crit chance, especially if you're on like top left. So this give you chance to just basically have less crits and then you can steal crits. But then we have to see if there's like any benefits for actually crits. You know, like if we I don't know, it'll be interesting. Cause this note has to be insane, right? It's luck behind this like bad note. This note is kinda bad. Unlucky is like fine, right? Crit chance against unlucky. Damage is also unlucky, which is kinda nice. I mean it's a good defensive note, but this note has to be insane. Otherwise, I do want to try out this node. I cannot talk about it, but we can go mana scaling for like as a form of tank, and then we just like try to leech mana, right? But yeah, we gotta do the math. But like basically, we have to scale crit chance to an optimal point, and then we have to scale crit damage to an optimal point. Let me think. Like, okay, so for example, let's just say you have 50%. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get some water. Yo, Skeezy, I'm still looking at Frostwolf. That's when you thought it looked most fun? Yeah, I think it looks like really fun. 100% playing it. There's a post about math for inevitable crits already. That's pretty fast. I guess I'll take a look at that later. Alright, let's so there's an actual optimal amount, right? Don't know if I wanna browse Reddit. Shaman, it's a go. Free from nothing allocates keystone. It's not from nothing, right? It's only from nothing if you can overlap. I don't think they allowing us. I don't think this is legal, by the way. Yeah, because I mean, otherwise oracles would be really good for late games. Like if you can like, okay, so you can like get from nothing pain attunement and overlapping zealot oath. But I know they already fixed it. Like you can't do it here. But yeah, I don't think they allow us to do that. I mean, there's also another like overlapping keystone here, but that's pretty much it. There's nowhere else that keystone actually overlap. But if it does, and you can get chaos inoculations, you bet I'm gonna get this first, cause there's like a bunch of like great notes over here. But yeah, no overlapping allows, I think. Otherwise, it's too broken. I don't know which is right. You haven't double checked the math. I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard to double check the math, right? But I mean, the idea here, like without doing any math, right? Realistically speaking, without doing any math, we want to get to at least 50% crit chance. But you don't have like you don't need more, right? But then I guess like this one just scale way like it's just scale better with even more crit chance and more crit damage. It's not meant to be like optimized, I think. It just it's just like meant to give you really good damage multiplier numbers, but I don't know like I don't know like how to say this like because before, right, you have to get to a crit chance, it's just roll once, and whether you do crit or not, right? This prevents, like, this mean that you can scale both crits and crit damage. So you don't have to, like, lock into, like, certain amount of, I mean, I guess crits, right? And then, so it benefits, like, low investment into crits. 42 is the only answer. Yeah, it's the answer to that universe. Talisman have good crit chance base. I'm not sure actually. Okay, we don't see it. Crit chance 9%. Okay, that's not too bad. Quarter slam go up to like 10%, right? So 9% is not bad. 9% base crit. We don't really like if we get something similar to this one. That's 10%. Yeah, I mean, we can work with that. So yeah, I mean, like it's just meant to be like a way for you to basically this note, what it does, what it tells me without doing any math, right? I could be wrong, right? Is you don't need 100% crit chance. Basically, you just need to reach like, I don't know, 50%, 60%. But like there's gonna be a formula, I guess. But I mean, could ask ChatGPT later. But I doubt anyone actually like do math level on this. But the closer you get to 100%, the worse it is. So you just try to scale as much crits to pass 50% or like 50%, and then do crit damage with. Is there like was that like something that interact with the 50% crit chance? Was it like for poison build that people were talking about? I kind of forgot. Crit damage turned into poison? Oh, okay, okay, never mind. 24.4 chance and 500% crit damage, optimal number. I mean, are you sure? Like, does the math check out? We don't know, right? I'm not trusting any math right now because people would just like ChatGPT it, but yeah. Alright, so this one we can't see on Paltron videos. Anything change from this? Pal was looking at it. I'll look at it later, mainly because I'm playing Oracle, right? So I do want to know, but I don't think it's affect us too much. It's like it's mainly gonna be a endgame nodes. So I don't think anything change. Enemies in your present have exposures. Wait, this one is pretty good. Okay, so for Wolf you still want to go for this, right? This is kind of like the theme for the class, so you go for Rage. Then this node is not something we can make good use of. Your math degree can be used with this. Yeah, if you can. Crit damage reductions, additive or multiplicative? It's additive, I think. Oh, it's less. Holy. Wait. Wait, so it's not bad, right? If you wait, no, it's bad. It's less, so it's multiplicative. So you don't want to have more crit chance. I don't know, like 24% chance of crit, and then you do 30% less. I don't know if the math check out actually. Alright, so nothing changed here. Wait, okay, so let's watch Paltron new videos. How does he already have a video out? Wait, I thought this Ascendancy thing just which is out, like what? It was out like 4 hours ago. He already have a video out. Man, like man is a machines. Wait, I thought he's also streaming on a what? Like, is he streaming? How's he having a video out already?
Hey guys, Paltron here. The new Druid Ascendancy.
Yeah, but this video he just put out like an hours ago while he's streaming.
Just got revealed. Plus, we got a little bit of gameplay showing us Apocalypse from Ziggy.
See, like this one was an hour ago and he was streaming, and then Ziggity just released this video and he already have a video out. Like, that's crazy.
If you want to check out that full video, I was first going to make a little bit of an analysis, but it was just more bare.
Man, I wish I have an editor that as good as
a little bit more.
Holy.
But I want to really hone in on the Ascendancies now that they're out. Now, we'll be comparing these to what we already knew from the Chinese leaks, but let's start with the Rage node. It has been not touched. And as far as I'm aware, the small nodes won't have changed, but we don't know them exactly. So that's the same. The Spirit node is the same. the bonds,
Okay,
runes,
so
and
it's the
idols.
same.
So we know there's going to be offensive mods here. You can get 40 spirit for each empty charm slot. However, do note that while charm slots early on are not as important, in endgame there's some extremely powerful
So I'm not
ones
sure
that
if
give
we
you onslaught. You
we
get
actually
immune
have
to
the
slow,
drops for
freeze,
like
stun.
the game
So
award.
unless you
So
have
I
something
think I'm
against
just gonna
those CCs, it is highly unlikely you're
yeah,
actually going
look,
to take
like
this
maybe
note
watch this
unless
video
you're a
and end
minion
the
build.
stream.
I already talked about Furious
yeah, I'm just
Wellspring
gonna
in
go
my
on,
league start
like,
video as well, so
maybe
I'm not going to go
Paltron
over it
to
as well.
watch the
But
game
yeah,
award
the
and
rage,
get drops.
1% more spell damage didn't change. Then we have reactive growth, and this one did change. So it now does
That's
just
okay, so
straight up
this one
10%
changed.
less elemental damage. No strings.
Less elemental damage taken. Adapt to the okay. So they fixed the interactions with the cold brittle, right? 10% less damage taken. I could be pretty strong.
Attached. I absolutely love this because it makes it less situational. The second part got changed. So adaptations now grant 10% less damage, up from 4, but you can only have 3 max. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's just that it hit you tech, right? And you can still take you can still take damage. This one. Physical damage from hits taken as a random element. So if you can self-hit, like it still work with Skull Riddle, so it's not like it's not gonna work. It's just random elements. If you can like keep hitting yourself, right? There's already like a few way to loop this in. And you can anoint this, right? So if you're playing like druids, right? You just anoint this.
Interesting for a few reasons. We didn't have this less elemental damage taken, and now this on top. So it can
By
give
the way,
you up
pause
to
it on video.
30% less damage taken of one element, or one spread out. So for example, 10% less lightning, cold, and fire. These are not per element. At least I don't think so. There's absolutely no way they're going to give us 30% less LE damage taken across the board and then another 10%. So I'm assuming it's going to be depending on what you take. And these
Gain by taking damage from hits. 3 adaptations. Do not have a durations of that adaptation type. Okay, so the type. So it's either fire, lightning, or cold. Okay.
seem extremely strong, mainly because of synergies, and I'm not even talking about the 4-pointer, just the 2-pointer with Cloak of Flame can make it so after the patch, remember it got buffed to 50%, with a corruption can go up to 61% of physical taken as fire. So if you're constantly taking hits from either fire damage or physical damage, which gets converted, it procs the adaptation. And do note these have no duration. There's no duration attached. So once you get hit 3 times, you now have this for the rest of the encounter or for the rest of the map. So what that means is just with this 2-pointer, if you have a 61% Cloak of Flame, even on a 50%, it just goes down a little. I don't think these are additive, so I don't think you're going to get 40% less fire damage taken. So we're just going to take it at face value. 10% less LE damage taken, not bad at all. Actually, very strong effect. And that will also work for the Fizz that gets converted. So do remember, whenever you convert physical damage to LE, now that damage will go against resistances. So you take 7.5% less physical damage taken because you have 75%
That's actually pretty nuts.
fire resistance
is there a
or
way to
cold
like
resistance or
consistently
lightning
prop
resistance.
this as fire?
And the same goes for the 30% less fire damage taken, which will result in even less. So this just went from
I haven't played much
conditional
PoE
to...
too, but if you can convert a lot of elemental hits to one type, yeah. There's not a good way to stack the fire damage to do this though.
Fire resistance or cold
Let's
resistance.
see if he has
Very much real.
some
This is
ideas
a
on
real
that.
node now and not just a pathing node to the next one. Now the next one is interesting because this one got actually worse. So 5 of Fizz taken as cold, fire, lightning. Very strong effect, right? Definitely. Once again, converts it so it runs against res. Adaptations have a duration of 5 seconds, double adaptation effect. So while, yes, you're going to get more effect, this now means you need some form of way to proc this, which could be through stuff like Scolds, where you constantly take physical damage, which will then get converted with this to all ailments. So what that's going to do is you're going to take 10% less damage taken from here. And then once you get hit a single time with a physical hit, you will take all 3 elements. That is at least the idea here.
Yeah, that's good.
And then you're going to get 20% less
Fire
elemental
flower?
damage taken. So...
Yeah,
less fire damage
flowers,
taken,
you
but
can hit yourself
overall
with
a lot more
fire
well-rounded.
damage.
And
Is
this
it
setup
hit?
would lend itself a lot more to not going Cloak of Flame. So for example, if you want to use your body slot armor for something like Couture of Crimson, you could definitely do that, but the Fizz conversion is still incredibly strong. With that said, at first I thought, well, maybe there's going to be builds where you just take the first 2-pointer, which I think is good design. This second one,
Wait, 95.71 confidence of rolling a success in 3 rolls. You need 65. Okay, so 65 seems like a good point. So that's like a breakpoint, right? So if you're okay with 4, you need 55. So 3 roll, so if it's 3 roll, you do, so you get 30% less twice. So I think 65 is, wait, so, okay, so if you did the math, right, 65. If you in Discord, can you just send that? I can just, I mean, I'm not good at math, right, but I can take a look at the formula you're doing. Yeah, it kind of, I mean, I haven't done the math, right, but 65% 3, yes, so I assume there's gonna be a breakpoint. So 55, I mean, 3 times 30% less is, I mean, is that okay? Check where said I'll check it later. I'm like streaming right now, so I can't check DM. No, Wilfit, thanks for the Prime.
one needs a little bit more work
Let's
because
finish
remember
this
that
video.
the adaptations have no duration. You just keep them forever, and here you have to constantly get hit over and over. And you could say that's fine, but if you don't have something to automate that, for example, as we said, with the Skull's Bridle, then that might be a little bit unreliable. That's just going to depend on what kind of content you run and how often you're going to get hit. So this duration actually turned out to be a downside. Very, very interesting design, I will say, overall. Now, the next node we saw was Turning of the Season. This used to be a 3-part choice, but we already saw in the Ziggy D video that this is gonna be different. Gain 10% of damage as extra damage of a random element, and enemies in your presence have exposure. Now, exposure is enemies have -20 all elemental resistances. This is not like, there's no more fire, cold, lightning exposure. This is now all elements. And do note that exposure does have less effect on unique magic and rare monsters depending on what you're fighting, so it's not as good as it seems, but overall, that is a very nice 2-pointer, and especially in a sea of PoE 2 Ascendancies that have downsides or are conditional, being able to just grab reactive growth right here for defense, grab a little bit of Turning of the Seasons for offense early on, especially when you haven't really chosen a path, is just incredible, and not that many Ascendancies can actually do that. With that said though, the last skill left is Apocalypse, and this one was shown in the Ziggy D video. I'll show it to you in a second. Now in the video, it needed 150 glory, so a lot less ramp up. It had the same duration, but it triggered a little bit more often. So it triggered every 0.65, now only every 0.75. So this is going to make it a lot more.
Wait, so this one got buff. I mean, it looks kind of weak in the video, so yeah, kind of makes sense that it got buff a little bit. Yo, Double L, thanks for the Prime.
More consistent. A few notes I have on this one. Actually, let me just show you. So in the background, we thought this Apocalypse, which has these random effects popping out, would just be, I don't know, kind of a fail, right? Because it would just go over the screen, but it auto-targets. Probably the clip playing where it auto-targets the boss over and over. And in the video, he has an Apocalypse with no support, so his staff has physical stats, so he has no plus to levels, no increased spell damage, no nothing, and no support gems either. So that is a 0 link, right? No supports. And you can still see it doing quite a bit of damage. And as well as that, I think there's some stuff going on with like extra ailments applied because he's also gonna shock, chill, and ignite, which he shouldn't. So whereas before the showcase, I was very negative about Apocalypse from the trailer, now I feel like spellcasters could be a thing. And I will be experimenting with this because most likely I'll take Turning.
But this one is an attack though. Oh, it's a spell. Wait. Oh, it's different from the other was bear spell, right? So it's a spell, okay.
Apocalypse from the trailer, now I feel like spellcasters could be a thing, and I will be experimenting with this because most likely I'll take turning the seasons on my first Ascendancy anyways, even if I will be going Rage. The first node here is just not all that great. The spell damage at the start, and I'm just going to take this, and then I will try out Apocalypse. It seems like one of those that could completely pop off. There's a few reasons for that, and the biggest one, it has no mana cost. Now, it does have an initial mana cost, don't get me wrong, but you're going to get consistent procs, and you can scale its levels, and it has all 3 tags. It has Lightning, Cold, Fire. You can scale its level to like level 40 with certain things, and 40 even, and it doesn't matter. It will increase only the mana cost of the initial buff. There's no proccing going on. It's not like cast on crit where you have to constantly redo mana. Or for example, a good example here would be Elemental Expression on Scatter into the Winds, which does a lot of damage, but your mana will get destroyed.
Okay, so this one, yeah.
No, it will cost 0 mana, and do note that you are in the region where you can grab all the skill effect duration in the world. There's going to be a skill effect duration cluster here as well, and Chronomancer over here, and I think you can get up to 10 or 15% on duels as well. Do note though that other than that video, we don't have any idea how much Hailstorm, Meteor, or Crash Lightning, how much damage it is actually going to deal, and whether you can actually support it with damage, although I think you should be able to, just like the other ones. And you should also be able to support it with more duration. You can easily get it upwards of 30 seconds. So overall, I am a lot more optimistic about Druid, and I could even see myself going into a Spellcaster. Do note as well that there has been an update to Firestorm down here, which I know a lot of sorcerers were looking at, but honestly, the Firestorm changes have just been good for everybody. Plop down a Firestorm on a single target might actually be a thing.
Level 90
and then
is because skill is level 20.
I thought this was going to be a catastrophe, but now I'm a lot more interested.
Catastrophe, holy.
The first note that got revealed is inevitable
Yeah, I think
crit.
it's actually
so we still have lesser harm, so you have to take this 2-pointer right
I think
here.
it's good.
Enemy crit chance against you is unlucky. Damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky.
Wait, we kind of went
through
through this.
It's especially decent against crits, right? For example, an enemy with 5 crit,
but
which
yeah,
is going to be most enemies, will go down to 0.25. That's what unlucky does, right? It rerolls the same amount. And
apparently,
yeah, it looks okay.
The math, right? There's like a small breakpoints, right? So 55% you do chance that you crits on the 4th hit, right? So you text 3 times 30% less. Or 2, right? I think, yeah. But if it's 65% chance to crit from the math, right? I'm not sure if the math check out, but there's like 95% chance you crit on the 2nd or 3rd hit, which means you take at most like 60% less. But I mean, if you have 65% chance, you most likely you're gonna crit on the 1st or like 2nd hits anyway. So I think, yeah, try to get your crit chance to a bit higher, and then yeah, that sounds good. I mean, 65% seems like a reasonable numbers. Yo, you slide boots. Thanks for the prime. You like the unarmed hardwoods extending your totems? I mean totems. I haven't looked at totems yet, but GG promises like a video that showcase like endgame build for druids, and they haven't delivered. So yeah, that was kind of. They need to deliver on that. Yeah, if you're playing, especially if you're playing Ice Wolf, like you're gonna attack pretty fast, so it shouldn't feel too bad. So like pretty much, it's really good. I mean, it's just more damage, but like how much more though? But yeah, anyway, I think that's like an endgame.
Damage against you is unlucky is only really relevant against lightning damage, which with a lot of range, and then physical. If you don't know what unlucky is, basically, let's say an enemy deals between 100 and 400 damage, it will get rolled twice and it will take the lower amount, which sounds good, but a lot of enemies just don't have a lot of range. So it's like it's okay. You wouldn't want to take this ever, but you would want to take it if, let's say, the next node is completely insane, which is inevitable crits. So I thought this would be something like the support, like many people did. And inevitable crit support is...
Well, I kind of thought, but like, I mean, they changed the support gem, so there's no way,
Like, it's something that you use on single target damage or whatever. But this one is completely different. Hits, which could potentially be a crit,
it's completely
but
different,
do not roll a
and
crit,
it's completely
will
insane,
re-roll
I think.
until they succeed. And you do get 30% less crit damage bonus for each time you had to reroll. So for example, right? Let's say you start with 30% crit chance.
Why not play Amazon Wolf? Wouldn't it be much better than Oracles? I think Amazon Wolf is actually shit.
If you crit, you crit. You just get it 100%. If you don't, this gets re-rolled and you get to roll again.
Also, even if Amazon Wolf is good, I wouldn't play it because I want to play Oracles or Druid. Amazon is you're playing either 0.3 Amazon or like all the new buff of Amazon doesn't work on Wolf because we have no projectiles.
However, this time with 30% less critical damage and so on, right? The next one will be 30%.
Even if you are at 65% crits, is it worth spending the 2 Ascendancy point? That's a good point too, but the notes prior to that note, it also give you I guess it's pretty good defensive, right? Damage of enemies hitting you unlucky is basically the hits is rolled twice and then we take the lower damage. But yeah, it gotta justify. Okay, so for me to justify the for me to justify taking this, right, as 2 notes, right, it need to give me, I guess, at least about 30% more damage. That's like the bare minimums, because each Ascendancy point, because I only think about damage, right? In terms of damage, I only think about damage. I think Ascendancy points in PoE 2 is actually not that strong, and each would give you like, I don't know, 15% damage or to 20%. So to justify clicking this, it need to give me at least 30% more damage, or 35, 40%. Or if it's more, it's even better, right? It's broken. But I mean, we don't know the full math right now. I guess once we had the PoB updates, I think. I don't know if we're gonna get it soon, but once we had the PoE update with this, it's gonna take a while, right? It's just like with the Amazon Ascendancy for accuracy, it takes a while for the PoB team to update. I think that node will mostly be used for cast and crit builds that don't want to invest in crits. Yeah, but you still want to invest in crits, right? Wait, if you're going for cast on crits, I mean, that's kind of true, right? But then if you're going for cast on crits and then, I mean, I guess that's not for our build, right? Because, okay, so you can abuse that if you're playing spell build and you don't go for crits. But with playing Wolf and then we want to go crits, then the optimal for us is like, I guess 55 or 65%, right? For example, for now. Yeah, you go cast on crit, just kill non-crit damage. Yeah, that makes sense. Bleed Wolf. Bleed doesn't really make sense for Wolf because Bleed require big hits. And Wolf is like doing a bunch of small hits. So that the dream's kind of dead.
Percent less, but that is from the new number, and so on and so on and so on. So there's theoretically you could be at a point where you don't really get much extra damage whatsoever. However, there's 2 particular effects that I'm interested in. The first one is how good this is going to make cast on critical. Imagine, sure, you are on the left side of the tree and you don't have access to all the energy stuff, but going from here to here is not that far, right? Imagine being able to proc cast on critical on every hit. Now, I understand you could just get a ton of crit, but that's just not really how PoE 2 works. Every single hit is now going to proc towards the energy on cast on crit. On top of that...
Wait, it's kinda true though, like, you can be at, like, base crits, and the hit's gonna crit anyway, it's just gonna roll, right? Is it gonna roll, like, every server ticked? But, like, it's just gonna, like, easily roll and crit. With 0%, with, like, close to, like, 0 crit damage. It's kinda nuts, actually. Oh, so you can play this with totems? Because he's thinking about that, right?
Stuff like Vol's Protector...
So you just play this with
gives
totems.
You power charge on every single hit. You will inevitably hit, as the note says.
So, okay, so that's like, okay, wait. So that's free power charge for totems. So basically you cast like, I don't know, like vines, right? It hits like so many times. You just get like a bunch of like you instantly fill your power charge and then you cast your totems. And if you can get like your totem limits up, you just like that's free totems. It is kind of nuts. Flicker oracles. Yeah, but you're not doing any crits. You might have the power charge, but you're not doing any damage. I actually think that, yeah, that's, I think he's gonna talk about it too, but yeah, I kind of see where he's going, right? You get, free power charge, essentially. And then
How much
you
crit
can
multi
kind of
you're
use
actually going to
spell
get
totems.
depends, but
Holy.
it's always better than not
Are you
critting. And
about
I'll be honest,
SSF
there's
starting
probably
out?
a
Hell
million
no.
other
I'm
ways
not
to
playing
abuse this. This
SSF.
is my knee-jerk reaction. It literally
If
just
I'm
went
playing
up 5
SSF,
minutes ago.
I can't
So
really make
I
builds
think this node
'cause,
will
I
be
like
build
making builds
defining, and
based
people
on
will
like
go
interesting
Oracle
unique
just
items.
for this node. But I do think there's a few more interesting ones. Now, I'll just
Sorry, I
tell you
need to
straight
turn off
up
the
that I
music.
think both Align Fate and the other skill, where is it? On the right side here, Moment of Vulnerability. I think it's one of those things that looks good, but it's just way too situational. And I understand that it can
I don't think like it's situationals. 4 meters, like 4 meter is not bad, right? Maybe it's bad for Wolf, but like so 4 meters like this. For big boss, it's okay. Let me think. For example, if you are fighting Zest, right? Zest is like 20 meter, like 2 meters. So he's gonna spawn somewhere inside this 4 meters arenas, and then you just cannot cleave, right, for double damage. I guess you have to aim a little bit. Like if he spawned like here, for example, you would I mean he's already overlapping, right? So you just cross slash all your eyes fragment in here, and then it would double dips, and then basically that's double damage. That's build that don't skill crits crit him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are. It's just like free crits. It rolls until it crits, basically. And you will crit. So even with 1% chance to crit, you will crit. So unless you're running around with 0% chance to crit, which you're not, right? Any percent chance to crit at all, it's gonna crit. So you just like it's free cast on crits,
double your damage.
and then with
but
that,
you
it's
gotta
like,
realize that
I
you
guess,
have to hit
like,
enemies
free,
exactly
power
when
charge.
they're primed to stun, electrocution, or like just about to get
kinda not-
frozen. If you
Yeah,
miss that
so
window, this is
Oracle,
completely
pretty
useless,
insane.
and you also have a
We
10
might
second
be able
delay
to
before
pivot
using it
into
again.
something interesting.
Gonna be honest, I think this is going to be an absolute trap. It's going to be reminiscent of a lot of
I
these
mean-
Chronomancer skills that look really cool and flavorful, but just aren't gonna be that good. Then we have Harmony Within, and this one's
Kind of disagree, but I mean, I get it, right? If your content is just mapping, I mean, there's no point, right? And then even without that, then you're still gonna one-shot boss in maps. So there's no point in taking that for him. Yeah, I think it's a cool skill if you want to have enough damage for pinnacle bossings, but otherwise, yeah, it's like a trap.
really hard to judge before we know
So still, like, you know, we want to have this one is good, and then like basically 1, 2, 3, 4. But then we also can kind of look at this as well. But
the
yeah.
energy shield numbers.
At least for like Ice Wolf, I think it's kind of hard to pivot from the Fawn outer notes right here.
Doing like a life mana hybrid might be worth it eventually, but if you can just stack 10, 15 KES, then what's the point?
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, basically, I think that's how you play spell totems.
You also get
I
less
think that's
life,
how you
less
get the
mana,
spell
so you're
totems.
working at a
My microphone is way too low. Yeah, it's kind of low.
disadvantage. I will say the totem node is probably the most unexciting node I've ever seen.
I mean, to be fair, Totem dies 6 seconds after they left. Okay, I mean, it's great. If you want to play Totem build spell totems, right? You just run this. It's great, right? You run 2 of these, so you always get power charge. Well, not always, right? But you run any sort of like spell that hits a lot. which I guess you can go blend for entangle and then wet, and then you play totems with which I don't know, like arc for shock, for example. Do I play hardcore? No, I would die on like the first like zone if I'm playing on hardcore. Okay, so what was I? Okay, so yeah, you take these for spell totems for sure, and then you 100% taking these, and then you are playing with the body hours or get power charge. So that's 2. So this one require you to hit a lot, and then this one basically require you to crit. With no downside, this one give you shocks when you reach maximum, which we don't want. This one is just like basically if you have like a spell that hits a lot, it's like perma cap you with power charge, which you can also kind of abuse anything that spend the power charge as well. So yeah, I think it's quite nuts actually. And then okay, what's your last note would be? I guess we can take this, right? If Unseen Path is good, you just like click this, and that's your totem spell totem build. That might be something that I'm interested in right now as well. But I mean, I guess I'm starting Wolf for now. But I mean, yeah, we might reroll, but we'll try to take Wolf to at least like endgame mapping and like farm certain amount of money and then reroll. But at that point, I guess someone would figure out spell totems already, so it's whatever. We'll just stick to Wolf for now.
We didn't know what this did. It is so bad. Like, this node is so bad. I can't even tell you how bad. Spell Totem has a maximum of 1. So yes, this does give it +1. And maybe there's another cluster on the tree that gives another +1. But like, what the hell is this? That's all it does? And totems die 6 seconds after life is reduced to 0. So it just means that they're not as annoying. I guess that is their way of saying, okay, you paid charges for the totem. We're going to make it so you don't regret it and it just dies immediately. I really don't think that's a way. And that's for a few reasons. So I think if you're going to play spell totems, you will probably be Ancestral Bond. If you don't know, so now you can just plop down a lot more totems, right? You go for a spirit offhand. You can have like 400, 500 spirit. And you can actually reduce that with stuff like meta reservation efficiency.
Okay, but like, I don't know why Paul's not I don't know why he's not thinking about totems, but like, I mean, that's just more totems. That's +1 totems. That's like Ancestral 1. It's +1 totems, and then your totems doesn't die as fast. So, seconds. So, and then if you have, I thought he's gonna brought up the totems thing, but like if you have like a spell that hits a lot, and then you use this, that you're gonna have like perma like power charge, and that's like I mean you just like keep summoning totems, right? Why is he not
which you
talking
can
about
also
that?
get on something like the Invoker, which now gets 50% from this node here. That is a new buff. So with the 20% and the 50% from...
Wait, he didn't talk about that, right? I thought he's gonna brought up the totem things.
Does of 1. So yes, this does eventually gonna be their skill better than every single how much towards the energy on cast on crit. On top of that, stuff like Vol's Protector,
yeah, on top, right?
Just gives you power charge on every single hit. You will inevitably hit, as the node says. Now, how much crit multi you're actually going to get
so that's
depends,
like free
but it's
power
always
charge,
better than not critting. And I'll be honest, there's probably
like
a million other ways to abuse this. This is my
have like,
knee-jerk
5,
reaction.
6 totem
It
always
literally
out,
just
and
went
they
up
never die,
5 minutes ago.
you just like
So
replace them.
I think this node will be build defining, and people will go Oracle just for this node. But doing like a immediately buff.
He's
so
not talking
with
about
the 20% and the 50% from Invoker, if you wanted to go for full spell totem build, it would only take you 45 spirit each, and you could get to upwards of 10
but you go for
totems
invokers and you don't like your totems just die, right? And then you don't have inevitable crits, so you can't summon totems. Like, how are you gonna gain charge? And that. Thanks for watching. See you later.
wanted to. And then meanwhile, this does not
They have
synergize
LASIK
with that,
surgery.
right? And you're gonna get 2,
No,
3
I went
totems,
to
and you're
Korea
spending in
for
Ascendancy.
my LASIK.
This node is utter nonsense. And then there's a small change on the bottom that I almost didn't catch. So you know paths not taken, which give you passive points on the tree that weren't there, right? So there's going to be new clusters that you're going to have to see what they do. We have no idea right now. And
we have no idea.
It is not a first point
it's
that you
all
take,
bank on
which I
it,
think
whether
is a
it's
good
good or
thing,
not.
right? So that means while leveling, you can take it and you can immediately take some of these really powerful nodes. And then the keystone node, which is a little bit more min-maxy, is going to be second. If you don't know, I can link you this POB down below, but it's basically just all the keystones on the passive tree with a medium radius. So what you will be able to do is, let's say you path from the bottom and you start on the Druid and you take Zealot's Oath. Now you can take any node in this radius without taking its small passive. So for example, let's say there's a good node here. I can just allocate it with 1 point, or this one here, and skip all the trash. And you can do this on any keystone ever.
Alright, so we already know that.
You would have to build around. It's very particular. You have these skills that are just so situational. Same with Aligned Fate, right? So I don't know if you can take any of those and really get much from them. And then you have paths not taken, which we don't know the nodes
like
for.
more damage, but
Right?
yeah.
So for everything we know, it could
Very
be OP.
situational.
And then you have the keystone nodes, which otherwise the Shaman
In
just
conclusions,
looks
I think
amazing.
Shamans,
After
yeah.
they change,
Yep,
after
yep.
we now know what this does, you have a good damage node to click.
So I think he's
you have a
lock-in
good
Shamans.
2-pointer
I think
defensively to
Taos
click,
is
and then you can kind of
lock-in
make out your build.
Shamans.
I'm absolutely like fat patch 0.2, I think.
Okay, I
right?
gotta make a
Released this
videos about
before for a
oracles
little bit
and
of extra theory
just
thing
kind
where
of
you
like
can
make
gift
a
one
few more people
subscription and
invest
you
in
get,
the
like,
oracles,
I don't
man.
know, some
Otherwise,
NTX.
everyone's gonna click Shamans.
But either way,
But I got a
yeah.
cold break because we don't even
I'm
know what the
stoked.
passive skill does.
Reinforced to start
Shaman's
Druid,
reliable, yeah.
probably going to
let's
go
get
Shaman
forward, yeah.
early,
You
and I
kinda
might
know
be
what
playing around
expected.
with that
Yeah,
crit node
Shaman
on
early
Oracle.
looks
It looks
good.
absolutely fascinating. If there's anything new in the Game Awards that warrants a video, I will make another video before league start. Otherwise, I wish you guys
He's gonna make
happy league
another
start,
video
no matter
before
what you're
league
starting
start,
with.
man, it's some
Even if
machines.
you don't want to go Druid, which I understand, maybe you want to go safe first, play your meta stuff first, and then look into my updates. I
yeah.
will
Play,
update you
play
guys
safe,
every day.
play meta stuff, and
So
then
you can see
play
what I'm
Druid,
doing.
whatever.
Definitely do check out the part 2 of the Ziggy D video where he plays
running
for,
my
with a
build
lot of the
either way,
forms.
yeah. I mean, if I suffer,
and
you're
yeah.
gonna suffer.
Does it still have a slogan? See you next time.
If I suffer, you guys gonna suffer, but I'll prefer that I'm not suffering. I don't think I will. Or anything else? Wait. My
Hey guys, believe it
goats
or not,
upload
a pretty big combo
videos.
enjoyer here, and today I kind of just want to discuss them, like high
Combo
level,
enjoyer,
like
holy.
PoE1, PoE2, and then just like game design wise in general. And I know people probably let out a collective sigh when they think about multi-button builds, but I think like my elevator pitch would be that I think a lot more people
Guys,
actually
but,
would enjoy combos.
Actually, Game Awards is in half hour, right? So I think I'm gonna send you guys to someone else. Is it in like wait, isn't it in like 25 minutes? Shaman until 3rd Ascendancies and switching is kind of annoying. Switching mean you have to like redo everything. So it's kind of annoying.
If and this
Let's see
sounds
what
so obvious,
let's see
if
what
the buttons
my
themselves
goat
are
has
actually
to
fun
say.
press and the combo gameplay wasn't so antagonistic. But I'm just gonna break this out into sections because I want to like go over a bunch of different things where I think they're fun, where I think they're not, and why I think they're kind of more maligned by the community because of a lot of the ways they're designed. So first, let's start with crowd control. Crowd control, like freezing, stunning the screen, and then like sucking and various polling effects are probably some of the most common ways you actually see this in RPGs. And I know D4 complete dog shit, but
Are they
this button,
releasing
Corpse Temple,
sword?
is really actually really pretty fun to press. As you see here,
There's no way,
presses this.
right?
he sucks a giant pool
I don't
of
even
mobs
know what
together
is
where
the
he can
Game
then just
Award.
blow them up because he's playing something where he doesn't
So
have
I might
insane
just-
coverage where he
I
can't
might
hit the
just go
entire
to
screen,
sleep.
but he sucks a big portion of the screen directly on
But I
his
want to
character
drop
so that he can
some.
blow
What
them
is
up
the
to
drop
kind of
actually?
fix that.
I already sent you guys the Paltron link, right? Just finished watching your build out for Oracle Wolf. How you plan on solving for range? Forge Master and Boss I3 that should DPS check. I mean, is that like, yo, Sicko, thanks for the 1.5k bits. That's crazy. Oh, how do I plan on solving range? I mean, I don't think that's gonna be a problem. My Forge Master is never a problem. I mean, I never play really like melee build, but you don't have to be in melee range. You can kite him. It's not gonna be like a DPS check per se. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. You get the Druid portal effect on any channel with drops enables streaming the game award during the event. Doesn't say you have to be. Oh, I have to be in the game awards categories. Okay, so I need to change the categories. Man, but like, I don't know how long is it. Wait, it's 4 hours? I can't watch for 4 hours. I think I'm just gonna go offline, man. I'm gonna like AFK and someone else streaming this. I mean, yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. You can wait. You can give one Twitch a sub during the stream to get a shift effect. Wait, that's kind of crazy. Oh, this is cool. So 30 minutes is this. 4 hours I can do it. Holy wait, 4 hours for Game Awards. Okay, so what does it change? It changed the skin, right? He has like chain here. Well, that's kind of cool. Wait, only for a bear? Are you kidding me? Bro, what is this? Where's Wolf? You don't even get Wolf Farm? This is just bear. It's not only Game Awards, else companies show new stuff. Okay, okay, then I might be able to. Okay, so I might watch it a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna watch like 4 hours, but okay, so let me think what I want to do. Maybe I'll take a break a little bit for like 10-20 minutes, and then we can watch the pre-show, and then like watch the thing, right? You guys know when PoE is showing? Wolf is not getting anything. Are they gonna sell Wolf NTX and then give Bear as free NTX? There's no way, right? Right, I'm gonna okay, so I'm gonna switch categories to the Game Award right now. But I update the info. Did it change? Anything else I want to know about this? I can't believe they're not updating this fast enough. What's happening? Are they all sleeping? Look at that, we got like a bunch of new notes. So like if it's medium, you're gonna reach these as well. Like how many new notes are we reaching? I'm interested in like keystone and stuff. So actually we can't hit a lot of the new notes with the keystone. Okay, so this keystone right here, we can hit these notables for sure. Do we know what it is? I mean, they also change. Okay, so I mean, it's too much to think about right now. I'm just gonna be online like 3 hours before and look at it. Four p.m. PoE 2 is one of the first game award. Wait, you? Yeah, I hope so too. We just gonna watch till PoE drops and then. Is the game award like? Is this where they decide what is game of the year? Oh, it is? Holy wait, I might watch it though, because I want to cheer for Expedition 33. Okay, okay. Then let's watch wait, I'll be right back. I need to like take a small break. Maybe we can watch this, right? This one, wait, this video is 20 minutes. Okay, let me look for the award. Like, is that like what's the award stream? Oh, they're doing a countdown. Okay. Can we like we can cold stream, right? And I'm not gonna get in trouble, right? If I like watch the stream. One button shreds build using inevitable crits to maintain freeze. Man, there's a lot of tech that we can do with the wolf build. But I actually think spell totems with inevitable crits and then just like summon a bunch of totems, it sounds really good. Kind of hard for me to pivot right now, but I think for endgame we can technically like reroll into that. Oh, you're not. Yeah, okay, you're supposed to stream. Okay, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I'm kind of into games, so I don't mind like watching these. Cause some of these game, I guess we can play later. Oh yeah, people get that. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that was a like sleepy questions, cause But I don't know if I'm gonna have a lot of inputs during the Game Awards. So if you guys want to hang out here, we can just like kind of like hang out and chat. Because we can't pause the stream, right? So I'm not gonna try to interrupt the stream. Yo, there's 83,000 people watching. Do you generally go quickly through the campaigns? I'll take your times. I try to go fast, but I'm not like, you know, laser focused on I have to be the first one in maps, blah blah, right? But you can leave the stream on then sleep. I'm not doing that. If I'm streaming, I gotta interact with people. At least I'll be in chat. But I mean, I feel like I don't want to interrupt people with, because yeah, game of work, right? Pretty fun. PoE, so does the TGA MTX drop for the same PoE and stuff? Yeah. I think, wait, I think I just need to stream this, and then you guys are gonna get the drops, and then you just need to link account and claim. I mean, there might be drops for out of the game as well. Wait, so later on it's like one gifty, you get the bear shifted form, right? You read somewhere that you need to claim it within 5 hours timer from the start of the event. I mean, you only need to watch for 30 minutes, right? Wait, guys, I think I'm gonna end the YouTube stream, right? Because I don't think YouTube's got any drops, so for the YouTube guys, good night chat, and if you want, you can stop by Twitch. I'll be streaming on Twitch for the Stream Award. Wait, sorry, the Game Award. Yeah, so see you guys on YouTube, and yeah. 07. Rip Straw. I mean, you can't talk, but you can watch on Twitch. It's not gonna be a problem. There's no drops for YouTube stream, so I mean, there's no point for me to stream this on YouTube. So yeah, 07. Bye. Bye guys. Yeah, I'll be like, I mean, okay, so I really want to like get another videos out, but I think for me, I think that's fine. I'm not Paltron, so I think music is kind of loud, right? I'll turn on the sounds a bit later. And I guess I can work on my written guide.